June 17th, only 1 minute late. I am here. It's way better than it was yesterday, but we're here. We're live. We're not muted either. Not falling for that. I checked my mics right now. We might get muted later in the stream because that tends to happen, but we are good and we are live. Folks, what a day it has been in the broader equity markets in terms of all of the different headlines that we've got going on. Obviously, we will touch on what's going on with Iran and Israel. It is Technical Tuesday because today is Tuesday, so we will have Jason on in about basically 30 minutes, and we will go through all the TA on a variety of stocks. Obviously, TA can be affected by the fundamentals of the fact that, you know, there's a geopolitical situation going on right now. But outside of that, we will talk about how to think of some of these stocks at different levels. And then there's today's, I guess, momentum in the market, not momentum. You got the S&P 500 here that's down about 0.75. Pound here at 138, down about 1.89. Just now in the past like 20 minutes, we've had a little bit of a rebound. For example, Robinhood was touching almost $72. Right now it's at 75. Still down 2% of the day, but it was worse. There was, I guess you could call it a dip of the day across the entire market that we are slightly recovering from, but still going to probably be red for on the day. NVIDIA basically flat all day, 141.51. TSLA 318. At one point it was like 315, so that's up a little bit, but still down about 3% of the day. You got Palantir was at 142, right now at 140 or 138. Google basically flat. S&P again down 0.75, just below 6,000. Grab up about 1.8% of the day at 480. Amazon at 215. It was at 217 at one point. I mean, across the board, based on all the different things we've seen in regards to the rhetoric around Iran, Israel, and some actual updates that we'll talk about in a second, markets relatively are not being affected that much, at least not yet. The big names of the day that were moving since the morning were Oscar Health, and that's because that's up 7.39% today. That's because the Medicare cuts are not going to be included in the final version of the tax bill, which is good for Oscar because they get a lot of money from those Medicare spending provisions, which is, you know, just overall good for the business, overall good if you are a shareholder. It doesn't look like those cuts are going to be taken away. And then the thing that is going to be cut is the solar subsidies. Enphase still down 23% of the day. Solar Edge got hit 32%. Sunrun down about 39%. And then First Solar, that stock as well, down 18%. So outside of Oscar Health and some of the solar names, we really haven't seen a ton of momentum across a variety of different names in the market. Corey right here is, of course, at all-time highs. Why not? 8.76%. So this name, it was basically at all-time highs when I left in the market open. It is now back above all-time highs. 175 was where it got to today. Currently right now at 172. Arrow did get hit as well, only by 2%. It was down 6% in the morning. And then you have Circle, which I believe was up 10% on the day. Circle basically now taking a breather at 150. At one point, it was 164 during the day. What's going on in the White House? What's going on with Trump and Iran, Israel? Let's get to that update right here, and then we will keep going from there.
This afternoon, he wrote, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now, but we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience..."
If you're seeing this for the first time, yes, Trump did post, "We know exactly where the supreme leader is, and we're not going to take him out for now."
Is wearing thin. So that leaves open the question, Mike, of whether Trump, who campaigned on the idea of ending wars and who has sought to position himself as a peacemaker, is considering bringing the United States into the war against Iran alongside Israel. In another social media post, the president wrote, "We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran." The president doesn't say in that post who exactly he means by we and whether this refers to U.S. military assets over Tehran or separate Israeli action. Either way, the president is in the Situation Room with his top advisors at this hour. We don't know if we're going to see him on camera for the rest of the day today, so we'll keep an eye out on social media, Mike, to see what else the president has to say.
And I guess, Eamon, we don't quite know the range of options that the administration, the cabinet might be considering right here. We don't really know if Israel's going to kind of go ahead with a plan and maybe the U.S. follows along. I mean, I guess despite the fact that we have this unusual real-time posting of the president's thinking on these matters, we don't necessarily know what's being thought about.
Yeah, we don't know what's on the table here, Mike. And obviously, the options for U.S. involvement here would range anything from intelligence sharing and support aircraft and equipment, all the way up to full U.S. military participation and potentially boots on the ground, right? That's the scale of the range here. What the president will ultimately decide to do, if anything, we don't know. It's interesting because, sort of the MAGA Republican appeal to American voters was in large part this idea that this was a president who was going to campaign to get the United States out of so-called forever wars in the Middle East, not launch new ones. So, excuse me while I kill that.
So there you go. I mean, obviously there is some tension with the broader MAGA base that's dealing with what's going on. You got Trump putting out tweets trying to explain that, MAGA means that we need to care about Iran not getting a nuclear weapon. I mean, you've got a lot of different people from a lot of different angles trying to figure out how to justify all of this. And that is leading to a variety of opinions circulating right here. CNN is reporting that the Trump national security meeting ended 9 minutes ago. It was an hour-long meeting, is what CNN says. The phone call, by the way, was on CNBC. The guy was getting a phone call. And it just ended. So that meeting started at around 2 p.m. Eastern. Right now it's 3:50. So that was a pretty long meeting. Even if it started at 2:30, that is over an hour long in that meeting. Robin right here, 75. Dude, I was going to buy some more at 73.50. I was going to buy some more at 73.50. And I was like, let me just wait a little bit. We might have World War III. I should be a little bit more patient. Well, here we go. Back to 75. That's what I'm saying. There was a little bit of a dip today when everything went down at the same time. And now, even with everything going on, it seems like the market is kind of recovering from that. But regardless, markets really aren't feeling the extent of worry based on this idea that the Trump national security meeting just ended and there's going to be an announcement pretty soon. I think Trump will go live either from the White House or from the Oval Office, or he's just going to do an interview soon. But we are going to know probably in the next couple hours what is happening and ultimately what it means for the state of this country. Again, the big tweet for today was, two tweets. Trump saying, we now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Now, who is we? When he says we now have complete and total control, I think that's a big question. And then the other one was, we know exactly where the supreme leader is hiding, and we could take him out right now if we wanted to. So it seems like we're involved at this point, and it doesn't seem like we're not going to be involved. Now, the question is it just Iran and Israel going back and forth with some missiles, which currently that's what's happening right now? Or does it escalate to something that is far more worse than what we can see currently? And ultimately, we'll see over the coming days how this ends up playing out. In terms of some other updates, stablecoin will be getting a big vote at 4:30 p.m. Besant said today a thriving stablecoin ecosystem will drive demand from the private sector for U.S. Treasuries, which back stablecoins. This newfound demand could lower government borrowing costs and help rein in the national debt. So you got Scott Besant, who quite literally said today, hey, I want this legislation to pass today, because this guy is focused on getting 10-year yields and 30-year yields to come down. The only way to do that is either you cut rates or you get people to buy those yields or to buy those bonds. And the only way to buy those bonds is you got to give them an incentive. And stable coins is one of, the best incentives. You have to match it 1-for-1 with your stable coin, and it's backed by US Treasuries. So in some respect, that could help Treasury demand. Treasuries right here, 10-year 4.391. On top of that, supplementary leverage ratios, the ability for banks, JP Morgan, Bank of America, et cetera, to have more Treasuries on their balance sheet, which they want to have because they enjoy getting that risk-free rate of return from the Treasuries. The Fed is having a meeting next Wednesday after the FOMC meeting that's happening tomorrow. We do have an FOMC meeting tomorrow for a rate cut to discuss the ability to increase those SLR supplementary leverage ratios to help banks be able to get more Treasuries on their balance sheet, which also would be very good for our bond yields. So those were two positive updates today in the context of the credit markets. But regardless, I don't think they have that big of an impact on the market. And, the Israel-Iran stuff still did not have that big of an impact on the market as well. At least not today for what we're seeing. Cool. So that's what we got going on there. We got about 5 minutes until the market closes. We don't have any earnings today. Not that I know of. Earnings today. Yeah, no earnings today. We do have Accenture and Kroger on Friday before the open. But basically, we're done with earnings season. We now have about, call it 3 weeks until we get back into earnings. July 11th, July 10th is when we start more earnings. So until then, we're kind of not going to have to deal with a lot of company earnings. Now, Amazon did say something important today. This was a big one, and this is something that, you know, Steve's been warning about for a long time, but they did end up saying it here today, along with the fact that we have some updates on Elon's XAI. So first of all, Elon did post his drug results. So there's his drug test. Everyone's been saying he's high on drugs. As you can see right here, he was negative for cocaine, negative for ketamine, negative for THC. He is 100% drug-free. So he posted that this morning. I'm happy they didn't give me a drug test because they would say testing 100% for funny if they had it there. So, you know, I'm happy I didn't have to get tested for that. But nonetheless, Elon did get a full negative report on all of his drugs, and he typed LOL as a result of the drug test. So for anyone saying he's high on ketamine, his argument is that so far he's not. He also said Wall Street Journal stands for "We suck at journalism." The other big piece of news right here again was this Palantir letter. We talked about it a lot during the day. We'll talk about it later. I wrote up a long post on this, but essentially Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Elizabeth Warren signed a letter requesting that Palantir show all of their information and documents and contracts to the government to figure out what they're hiding. I went in depth on it on the Market Open. We'll talk about it later, but I wrote a long post. You guys can read it if you want. Ultimately, I just don't think that the letter made any sense. I'll read Chad's response right here. He said, "I want elected officials to ask tough questions of us and anyone doing business with the government. That's their job. The issue is these aren't tough questions. They're requesting data from their own public contract database accessible to all. Complaining about political theater won't change this. I hope more people, public and elected, ask hard, honest questions and debate openly, agree on some points, disagree on others, but unite to protect our privacy, civil liberties, and safety. I don't want to live in a world where my attention is a commodity and my preferences, informations, and behaviors are products for sale. Sadly, we actively work to counter the very claims they make against us and will continue to do so." So I thought that was a rather classy response by Chad from that there. I'll put that Twitter post right here in the chat. Now, the other big piece of news, we got 2 minutes until the market closes, is Amazon. So Amazon put out something today. Andy Jassy put out a long letter around generative AI and all the different things they're seeing in terms of generative AI. And we'll talk more about the 11 different bullet points they highlighted. But the main thing right here is that they believe the rollout of AI and agents will reduce its total workforce in the next few years. They believe the rollout of AI and agents will reduce their total workforce in the next few years. Not to mention, you know, humanoid robots. I mean, they're just talking about AI agents in enterprise workflows, which, you know, theoretically could reduce the need for different software engineers and different white collar work. When you're talking about blue collar work, like, you know, people that actually pick up the packages and deliver them, if that gets automated by robots, then this is kind of proving what Steve's been talking about right here. It's also been proving what the Anthropic CEO has been talking about, which is that there is a wave of unemployment that is coming that affects everybody, whether you keep your job or not. You can't have massive amounts of people unemployed. You're just not going to have an economy that functions like that based on AI. Now, what can we do as investors? We have to invest in those companies that are going to get those productivity gains and margin increases, which means theoretically, if you believe Amazon in this pursuit and you believe they're going to save a lot of money from not having to hire people, you buy Amazon stock. But as a society, it's not the best thing in the world if if everyone doesn't have their job, because obviously you need products and services. And in order to get products and services, people need to buy those products and services. For people to buy those products and services, which is what we invest in when it comes to the market, we're investing in companies that build products and services. People need to have disposable income, AKA a job that gives them money to be able to buy. So from that perspective, it's a broader philosophical question, but nonetheless, companies are going to innovate as much as they can. And Amazon today said that they're just not going to need as many people in the future. 4 p.m. Tuesday, June 17th. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got Technical Tuesday coming up. The stock market is now closed. All right, we're closed. We are closed on the day. There you go. We are done for Tuesday, June 17th. Markets still really didn't react to all the stuff that Trump has been saying, to the attacks back and forth from Iran, Israel. S&P 500 right here down 0.79% of the day, basically where it was yesterday after it went up 1.2%. So, I mean, it's kind of flat, quite frankly, over the past week, and basically flat over the past couple of days, even based on these different announcements. Let's see how some of these stocks closed. Reddit, 133.78, up 6%. It was up 15% at one point. So Reddit getting a little bit of a haircut, and it kind of felt like it was going up a bit too much in the morning based off that momentum. So you do see Reddit getting a little bit of a haircut, which is fine. Still up 8%, which is nice. AMD was up at 131. AMZ, yeah, basically lost all of its gains. 127. So it did crack 130.70. Now it's at 127. MicroStrategy 375. That's down. Also, Bitcoin was at 104. Bitcoin, yeah, still down 104.7. That one really didn't get a ton of momentum today. Gold was down though as well. Palantir 138. Tesla 316. NVIDIA 144. Again, Robotaxi coming up in about 5 days for Tesla, if it still happens on June 22nd. So you do have Tesla right here at 316. Robin, put in the chat if you think Robotaxi is going to be a sell the news. Put in the chat if you think Robotaxi is going to be a sell the news or not. Next week. S&P 597, Google 176, Amazon 215, Meta 698, just below 700, Salesforce 262, Enphase 34, down about 24% on the day. Again, AMD 127, Apple 195, that was down about 1.3%, Reddit 133, SMCI 4310, Rocket Lab 2642, ASTS. Wow, I didn't even notice that. ASTS down 4.5% on the day. CoreWeave, all-time highs, up 8.3. For everyone asking me why was CoreWeave up, I have no idea. I have no freaking idea. I don't know why in the middle of escalations with Iran, Israel, do people buy CoreWeave? I mean, if they're buying it just under the general AI trade, CapEx momentum, like sure, but I can't think of a fundamental reason why this one is up. APLD, which got a big contract with them 2 weeks ago, that stock was also down about 4%, but it's up like 200% over the past month. DoorDash down about 1%. Duolingo's up a little bit. Nubank down about 2%. Lockheed Martin up about 2.63%. The defense contractors seeing some momentum. AppLovin 2.8. APSS was up today. Digital Turbine 52%. They had a really good earnings. This is a small cap, so it ran pretty aggressively. And you got Palantir right here, 138. Robin at 74.89 on the day. A lot of you guys are saying sell the news. I think if Tesla makes its way back down to 300 before the Robotaxi event, maybe it's not a sell the news. But if Tesla's still in that 320 range and the Robotaxi event is just not that exciting, or there's not, there's just nothing that, there's no juice to it other than like seeing some of the Robotaxis, then yeah, that could be a sell the news. Also, we don't know how many are going to be out there. The rumors, 10 or 12 of them. It's obviously not going to be generating any money, like any substantial revenue. It's just one of those things like, oh my goodness, it's happening. So the hype alone could definitely get the stock up, but it could also be something the street doesn't care too much about until it starts to get some scale as well. We got Tesla right there at 318 on the day. NVIDIA was relatively flat. NVIDIA right here, basically flat, 144.15. Any idea why Nike is down today? I don't. Was Nike just down with a lot of the Chinese stocks? No, I don't. Nike's down 3%. Elf down. Elf was down about 0.5%. Baba, yeah, down about 0.72. Not sure exactly why Nike's down, but Nike was down. In terms of ETFs so far, so let's pull over to this spreadsheet and let's see how everyone is doing. So Matt so far, total ROI, 3.36%. Amit, 2.09. Steve, 1.65. You guys can see this, right? Yeah. Tanner 1.09, and then Chris negative 0.47. Chris is the first one to go negative, folks. Chris is the first one to go negative, at least right now. Obviously, we have a lot of days left to plan this out. But Chris is negative. Matt is in the lead. I am actually second place. Tanner is fourth, and Steve is third, and Chris is last, at least for now. So that's the update from this one. This one, I believe, is using yesterday's price. If it's not, I'll see if I can get the more accurate one. But yeah, so far that's, even if it's not using yesterday's price, that's what it should be so far. Again, there's a long year left to see how this one plays out. But now we will get to take a look at it every single day. Adobe right here was also, yikes, down 5% on the day. This one also did not get some momentum. Yes, this is the fantasy draft, basically the fantasy stock draft thing. RGC as well. Remember that stock that if you put 10,000 into it, you could have had 10 million from January? That was up another 33% today. Because why not? Because why not? RGC right here, 79.97 currently on the day. Okay, let's pull up a couple other headlines that I want to show you guys, and then we will keep going from there. Again, we will have Technical Tuesday in a little bit. So a couple headlines. Number one, Elon's XAI is losing $1 billion a month, Bloomberg reported. That's probably why they're raising $5 billion in equity debt. So you got Elon's XAI. That's, OpenAI is losing money, but Elon's on track to lose 12 billion for the year. So GPUs are expensive, and that, means that Elon has been spending a lot of money on those GPUs, and they have to raise money for more. Fox News was reporting an hour ago, the Pentagon is moving more fighter jets into the Middle East and is extending the deployment of air assets already in the Middle East. This actually makes sense because Trump literally said that we're covering the skies. So it makes sense that, they're deploying more jets into the airs of the Middle East. The question is going to be what's Iran's response towards this happening. But that level of escalation has been there. And then the German chancellor, which said something really positive about trade deals, they said, hey, by the end of the summer, we should have a really good trade deal with the United States. The European commissioner, the president of the European Commission also said today, we are ready to get a deal by July 9th. So they're the timelines are kind of in track right here. They also said, if Iran, the German chancellor, if Iran does not back down, complete destruction of Iranian nuclear programs is on the agenda, which Israel cannot achieve alone. Hint, hint, they're implying we are going to back Israel. So far, again, just logically, from what I've seen, the U.S. obviously is backing up Israel. Germany, based on this quote, is backing up Israel. The UK yesterday said they were going to back up Israel. France said they would back up Israel. Canada said they would back up Israel. No one has come to the attention, or to my attention, of saying we are ready to back up Iran to make sure that they don't get a nuclear, or to make sure that they're prepared in a war with Israel. And part of the reason, I want to play a clip right here. It's a 1-minute clip. It was from a year ago. The Prince of Saudi Arabia, NBIS, he was interviewed about this very topic. And I found this clip today, and it kind of reminded me at least why the Middle East is so, the Middle East is so, it has so many tensions in regards to nuclear weapons, and why Western powers don't want anyone in the Middle East to get a nuclear weapon. Here's what the Prince said if Iran were to get a nuclear weapon.
Are you concerned, though, Iran gets a nuclear weapon, about them getting a nuclear weapon?
Well, we are concerned of any country getting a nuclear weapon. That's a bad move. And you don't need to get a nuclear weapon because you cannot use it. Even if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, any country use a nuclear weapon, that means they are having a war with the rest of the world. The world cannot see another Hiroshima. If the world see 100,000 people dead, that means you are in a war with the rest of the world. So it's a useless effort to reach a nuclear weapon, because you cannot use it. If you use it, you got to have a big fight with the rest of the world.
If they get one, will you?
If they get one, we have to get one.
That right there, bro. That is why the United States, whether you agree or disagree with them, that is why pretty much every Western ally does not want to see Iran get a nuclear weapon, is because, I mean, you heard him right there. He's saying, hey, if Iran gets a weapon, we've got to get one, because there's no way the Prince in Saudi Arabia is going to let one Middle Eastern power have a massive nuclear weapon. And, they want to be the modern, hegemony when it comes to the Middle East. Obviously, they're modernizing. They're having all this money, infrastructure. They're putting trillions of dollars into the United States with these AI chips and data centers, etc. They're going to want a nuke if another country that's next to them theoretically can nuke them if they have a nuke as well. So for better or for worse, that is one of the reasons why, various regions obviously don't want the Middle East to nuclearize as aggressively. AK Media would also get one. Dude, we were joking last night on the market close of, if a nuke is dropped, it doesn't have to be from the United States, but if in general we get a nuke that's dropped, what's the best stock to buy? I didn't know if it would actually get this serious that we're talking today about, nuclear weapons. But I think the number one answer people said was Palantir, which I agree with. Someone had a good answer about Home Depot, because, a lot of homes would get hit. You probably would have to rebuild your home. So Home Depot's there. Obviously, I mean, we're still going to need GPUs if we drop a nuke. If someone drops a nuke, we're going to need some GPUs. Elf, right? You're going to have some skin problems with the radiation. You're going to need some makeup. The reason we can joke about this is because if someone actually does drop a nuke, the stock market's done. It's going to be a while until anything recovers. So if we get another, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where 100,000 people are killed immediately because of a nuclear weapon, no matter where it's coming from, whether it's in the United States, outside the United States, wherever, I don't know if the modern world is ready to handle that. Because the next argument is that, okay, whoever dropped it is going to get something dropped on them, and then you enter into a nuclear conflict, and then it's who knows what's going to happen. So although, yes, we should probably buy the dip if that takes place, it would be a pretty aggressive dip. It would not be fun. Don't forget hymns. You might lose your hair. There you go. Yes. G7, all G7 members signed joint statements on artificial intelligence, migrant smuggling, transnational regression, and quantum computing. Dude, this quantum thing keeps popping up in so many different ways. This quantum thing keeps popping up. By the way, Channel 12, which is a big media source in Israel, Israeli officials estimate that the United States could enter into the war against Iran as soon as tonight, according to Channel 12. I don't think it's that big of a surprise based on everything that Trump's been tweeting today. We kind of have a feeling that there would be escalation of the United States joining into the war, but Channel 12 reporting that as soon as tonight, they could be playing a major role. Also, remember what JD Vance said this morning. For those that didn't see his tweet, he wrote out a long tweet, but here's the one sentence that really stood out. He, being President Trump, may decide he needs to take further action to end Iranian enrichment. That decision ultimately belongs to the president. And of course, people are right to be worried about foreign entanglement after the last 25 years of idiotic foreign policy. But I believe the president has earned some trust on this issue. And having seen this up close and personal, I can assure you that he is the only interested in using the American military to accomplish the American people's goals. Whatever he does, that is his focus. So you got JD Vance, who, has critiqued the Iraq war. I mean, one of his big things in terms of Make America Great Again has been the idea that we don't need idiotic foreign policy. And he's acknowledging, hey, I know the last 25 years sucked, but Trump might consider doing what he needs to do to keep Americans safe. Now, you can either believe if that's the right frame of mind for Trump to go down, but nonetheless, that is the argument that even JD Vance is bringing up currently right now. Let's see any of these quantum stocks if they're getting a bid based on that G7 statement. QBTS was down about 3% on the day. IONQ down about 1%, so pretty much not that affected. And then Rigetti down about 5%. Nothing too crazy here on the day for them. Here was Charlie Kirk, who is one of the biggest MAGA influencers, talk about how to think about Iraq versus Iran.
Some people on the right, they're saying, don't forget about Iraq. How are you reconciling these issues?
Well, first, this is the moment that President Trump was elected for. Thank God that we have President Trump in the Oval Office with this high-stakes situation. Look, President Trump 10 years ago, he went down the golden escalator. And when he announced for the presidency 10 years ago to this day, he remade the Republican Party on foreign policy. He said no more permanent wars in the Middle East. He criticized the Bush-Cheney philosophy of endless quagmires. Albeit, though, he is not an isolationist. He is willing to use violent and precise force against our enemies, like taking out Soleimani or dropping the Moab, if and when necessary. President Trump understands his base extraordinarily well. He knows that his base does not want another Iraq. He does not want Libya, does not want a civil war or bedlam where the United States is left carrying the bag. But also, President Trump has been morally clear for a decade. Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. And President Trump has the talent, the expertise to be able to thread that needle. The generation that I represent, Jesse, the under 30 crowd, they absolutely are very war weary. Many of them voted for President Trump on college campuses because they did not want to see a Joe Biden or George Bush philosophy where we get into this endless conflict where we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars. I think President Trump will be able to balance those two things while defending our allies, saying that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon without having to deploy a single American troop or even having America involved from the sky. President Trump can get that deal done while fulfilling the mandate that the voters gave him.
That's going to be the question, right? Can he actually do it? Can he actually do it? And I think there's going to be a big debate in this country if we do get involved to such an extent to the point where, America is spending hundreds of billions of dollars of this. I don't see it going that far yet. I mean, because again, just being logically, has nothing to do with whatever side you support. It's a question of who is supporting Iran in this if it becomes a massive war. And I have yet to see any big superpowers stand up and say, we're going to have their back. And I've seen everyone say, we're going to have Israel's back. And from that perspective, it doesn't seem like Iran's going to win on this. Now, the question becomes if they're going for full-on regime change, which Trump basically implied he has the capability to do if he presses one button today and he can get rid of the supreme leader, then I think that's going to be another debate in this country of do we need to go for a full-on regime change? Is it that bad? Are they that close to having a nuke? And if they do get a nuke, is that bad philosophically for the rest of the world? These are big debates, but we don't have the answers to that yet. The one thing I think we can conclude to at least some extent is that it's going to be very hard for Iran to win this if they don't have any help coming from our adversaries, which would be their allies.
between Israel and Iran. And through the day, the president has been stepping up his rhetoric against Iran on social media. In a post this afternoon, the president wrote, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, parentheses, kill, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin," the president writes. So that leaves open the question of whether Trump, who campaigned on the idea of ending wars and who's really sought to position himself as a peacemaker, is considering bringing the United States into the war against Iran alongside Israel. At the same time, at least some Republicans on Capitol Hill this afternoon are expressing reservations on U.S. involvement in Iran. And in another social media post, the president writing, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran." The president in that post doesn't say who he means by we and whether this refers to U.S. military assets over Iran or separate Israeli action. And now that this meeting has ended, it's unclear whether we're going to see the president on camera at any point this afternoon. Otherwise, we will keep an eye on social media to see if he has any more announcements to make, guys. Back over to you. We know you.
So again, I think throughout the rest of the day, we are going to get some more announcements in terms of how this is ultimately playing out. We will have Technical Tuesday in about 5 minutes. Jason should be hopping on in a bit, and then we will get into all the different technicals. Again, you know, technicals can't really explain. If we get into a full-on war by tonight, I'm sure the technicals are not really going to matter. So this is one of those things you have to take with a grain of salt, because obviously the fundamentals of the geopolitical landscape could change dramatically. But we are still going to try to analyze kind of how these stocks look after the past week of different news updates that we got. Apple right here, 195. Coinbase right here, down about 3% of the day. And then Reddit, 6.17%. We got a new update from Iran. Iran's Revolutionary Guard say Iranian attacks are targeting Israeli air bases from which Iran was attacked. That is a statement we're getting from them currently right now. Axios also reported that U.S. officials say Trump is seriously considering to strike on Iran. Now, that was 2 hours ago. Also, Axios was reporting that Israeli officials say Netanyahu believes the U.S. will likely enter the war within days. Again, that has been confirmed by multiple different sources. So, you know, the question, as soon as we launch a missile, you know, so far we've been very defensive. If we actually do launch a missile, that is where the United States will officially get involved. And the question is just if that ends up playing out. In terms of Amazon, okay, so what was going on with Amazon? So we talked about one of the big things Amazon said, which is that they believe they're going to have less workers over the next few years based on generative AI. Here are the things they announced today in this blog post by Jassy. So he says, we're incorporating way more generative AI across the customer experience. There was 11 different things. Alexa Plus, next generation Alexa assistant, is smarter and more capable. You're going to have an AI shopping assistant. You're going to have new shopping features like Lens, which are image-based product search, and Buy For Me, purchasing from other websites. You're going to have support for sellers. 500,000 merchants are going to use AI tools to create better product listings. By the way, Meta introduced the product yesterday for advertisers that essentially lets them take one photo and turn it into 20 different photos, which they can use for image copy on their ads. Which is, you know, very important, because if you're an advertiser, you can have 20 different ad sets and you can put money behind all those different ads and then see which one works. So you just have better ways to engage customers. They introduced new advertising tools for 50,000 advertisers, AWS AI offerings, the Trainium chips we talked about in the morning, internal operations, AI improves inventory placement, demand forecasting, robot efficiency, customer service chatbots, and product detail pages, AI agents. This was a big thing they focused on in this blog. Amazon envisions billions of AI agents performing tasks like research, coding, and automation, transforming work and daily life across industries and personal tasks. And then workforce and innovation. AI agents will reduce rote work, accelerate innovation, and potentially decrease the corporate workforce. That's kind of the headlines you've seen today about less number of jobs for Amazon over the next 5 years, while creating new roles with Amazon aiming to operate like a fast-moving, customer-obsessed startup. So you definitely have a lot of momentum in the context of where Amazon thinks AI is going to go. And if Amazon's thinking of all this stuff, we know Google's thinking of it. We know Meta, we know Microsoft. I mean, it really does bring up a philosophical question about where jobs are going to go in the future, what new jobs are going to be created. But it means these tech companies, we got to be smart enough to buy them. Like, just like, we got to be smart enough to have these, these margins are going to be insane as they replace work that doesn't need to cost as much as it costs today with AI. And from that perspective, I guess the long-term investor hat, believes that these stocks will likely perform well over the next decade as well. New York Times, Iran has prepared missiles and other military equipment for strikes on the U.S. bases if the U.S. joins the war. All right, so here's the thing. If Iran really wants to send some missiles to any U.S. bases, we know Trump is not going to tolerate that. We know any U.S. president would not tolerate that. So they can prepare the missiles if they want. If they actually launch them against the U.S., I don't think that would be the smartest idea. Again, you know, sometimes you have to be able to get into a fight that you know you can win. It's the most important thing, right? Like when you get into a debate, like when I was in debate in high school, like if you were going to debate against someone you know you were going to lose against, you have to do an unconventional strategy. I think I told you this story a while ago. I debated Adam Tomasi. Never forget this guy's name. Yeah, he was the best debater in Boston. And it was an octafinal round, so there were 3 judges, and you need at least 2 to win. I knew I had no shot to win. He was a senior, I was a sophomore. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to win. I took a totally different strategy, like a strategy that even he, as soon as he saw me debating, he was like, "That's the argument you're going for?" And I'm like, "This argument's like, I know I'm not going to beat this guy one-on-one, so I have to go for some crazy argument. Maybe I catch him off guard. Maybe I can beat him." And by the way, we were in his home state, so it was very hard for me to. Oh no, that was in New York. So it was upstate New York, so it was closer to where he's from. But nonetheless, I lost on a 2-1 decision, but I got 1 ballot. And the one judge who voted for me, even Adam, he was just like, "You actually voted for this kid?" Like, yeah. But that judge gave such a passionate RFD. It's called reason for decision. And he's like, "Yeah, I just think Amit is winning on this argument." And I'm over here like, damn, I really just got a ballot off this guy. Like, I did not think I was going to, I thought I was going to, sweep 3-0. And I had to go an unconventional route because there was no way I was going to beat him straight up. So unless Iran has some unconventional strategy to beat the United States or to target our military bases, they're going to get hit pretty bad. So I think that's not something anyone should be afraid of, because we know how America would respond. The question is, what are they going to do to Israel, and how bad do they attack Israel? Because they actually have a chance to potentially get through the Iron Dome. But in the United States, it's like, you're just not going to win. You're not going to win when it comes to that. So last story we hear before getting nuked is a high school debate story. Dude, I cannot tell you how proud of myself I was. Although I lost the debate, no one expected me to get a single ballot. So many people came up after. This guy was like the guy in debate. This was back in 2014. It was a senior year. He was winning every single championship. You know, he was supposed to just get rid of me like a little fly and just be like, all right, I'm moving on from this kid. I'm going to quarterfinals. And I made him work for that round. But sometimes you got to go unconventional. What was the strategy? It's hard to explain because it's like a specific technical debate thing. But the point is, I made an argument that was more rooted outside of like the way the topic was structured, because there's always a topic. I even forgot the topic. I forgot what the topic is. But like, the point is, I made an unconventional argument. He didn't understand it, and I got one judge to buy it. And I don't know if Iran will be able to make an unconventional approach to hit the United States. All right, folks, let's get into Technical Tuesday. For those that care about technicals when it comes to the stock market, you can stay on. We're going to be going through probably 30, 40 stocks for the next couple hours. If you do not care about TA at all, then you are free to leave. And I will be interrupting Jason in between if there's any major update to share with you guys about Iran, Israel. If not, then we're just going to be going through all the different TA across a variety of stocks in this market. All right, here we go. It is time to roll the intro. What's up?
Asian Steve is in the house. Boys and girls.
Why is it dark? Is your light? You don't have your light on?
I don't. 1 second.
Yeah, it looked more dark. Asian Steve, baby.
That's right. I got the
Asian
dad
Steve.
gear. Achievement, by the way, unlocked.
There
Like
you
the
go.
duck.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Dude.
It's like a Hawaii type of shit.
This is achievement unlocked. First official dad gear. I don't hate it, dude.
It looks like you got a tan too, bro. It looks like a little sunburn. Like,
No, I mean, it's just what it is. The boy, apparently Mama and the boy went out shopping together and he picked it out. Is it the Tom Lee sweat? I don't know. But you know, this is the one that the boy went for. So Can't hate it.
It
The
cannot-
dad bod, absolutely. All I could say, achievement unlocked.
Why did Jason's background look like a strip club? It kind of does.
Hey man, dude, don't forget where you come from, man. Just keep it real. Stick
Oh
with
my
your roots. That's all I know.
All right, so we got a lot to get into. Obviously, a lot of geopolitics has affected the broader market, or to an extent, kind of not affected the market in terms of how stocks are reacting.
Yeah, it's wild.
I want to start off with Palantir because
Yeah.
that one hit new all-time highs, and I want your take. You kind of did warn that there is a world in which we could see this, and we are seeing it.
I mean, before I even share the screen, I just say Palantir. When we think about geopolitical tensions in general, it's always like we go back to, I say we. When you think about stocks as groupings, if you will, anytime you get into geopolitical tensions, I have always looked at it or been taught to look at it in let's say, I call it the conflict cabinet. And there are very specific groups of stocks that do well during times of conflict. And that is oil, gold, and defense.
Right.
When we're in this specific situation. I mean, your channel is you specifically covered Palantir for a very long time. And there's not many stocks. I don't think there's any stock that's like Palantir, which is why Palantir is special, right? Where Palantir actually it checks all the boxes. It sits in defense. So like when you think about what stocks fit in this conflict cabinet, if I needed to be, it sits in defense. Yes, it's growth, it's AI, it's exactly. So it's special in that regard. Good God, yes, we know it's so overvalued, but to see it not be affected, actually, no, it should not be a surprise because so much of its core business was built on this specific application. Did I still? No, I didn't.
That's what we should have said. And it's not Tom Lee, it's Dan Ives. That's what we should have said. That's fair.
But
So,
yeah, so
okay.
much of its core business was built on this specific application. No, it should not be a surprise. It's almost like it's coming of age moment.
Okay, so 140 or 142 or 144 was the high. How are you thinking of this from a TA perspective in terms of a higher high?
I still think so. I think it remains a bit defensive. When we've been looking at as we track the stock, it's really been this major week over here, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, really. So in reality, Palantir has actually not gone anywhere for a month, to be completely fair. Palantir has not gone anywhere for a month. And so just from a technical perspective, it was ready for a bit of a move. Now that move is just this consolidation right here from that last month range. And if we do take that little bit of a consolidation, I have it measured here at 155, which we got, I mean, oops, wrong tool here. Like very near.
Elaine says she has a $140 covered call on Friday. Do you think she loses her shares on Friday?
I mean, so that's not really how this type of technicals work. I'm sorry. So that actually would have been, I mean, actually that hit it. So this box, I think that's, you might have a better luck with the magic 8 ball. In that case, I can't tell you that unless it is Friday.
Yeah.
Like then I'll be able to tell you that. But from this perspective, it's as simple as, so 50% of this range actually was 145. So as we measure this, here's your consolidation. A 50% extension of that range was that 142 up into what we measure as And I'm using an extension here. So when any stock is in these all-time highs kind of areas, let me just make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it, and thicker, I suppose.
Yeah, there is no market on Thursday, guys. So that's another thing.
Correct. So we're closed for Juneteenth.
Yes. Also, Jason and I will try to do options 301 probably this month, hopefully. But now we're both home, so we have a chance to do it.
What?
Or at least I'm home now because he's been home.
Okay. So a full doubling of this range is 151.95. This little box right here, hopefully you can see it. I just made it a little bit bigger. Dark,
yeah.
Like this little box in between 1.5 and 1.618. They call that the like golden pocket or golden zone, if you will. All I'm using here is a Fibonacci extension of this right here. So if it is over, let's say 145, then your next stop is 151.95. But the pathing, if you would have to look a little bit something like this. And so I forgot who you said had that covered call. There will be a moment in time where it looks like this, where she'll be in the money, and then it'll probably come back and be at the money for a split second, and then she'll be back in the money again. If that happens and she's back in the money after being out of the money, then she's housed.
Right.
And we're going into 152. Until then, a pullback into that 134 is still bullish. You're just not going higher until you break through this level. So, so that said, what would a pullback look like? I'm just gonna guess that it's actually at it right now. They are. So if I did the same kind of exercise, just measuring where we are here on this is about 50% of that breakout. Now, if you get below today's low, then you are at 134, and there's a possibility that we have what's called a look above and fail. So in technical analysis, all we do is we prepare ourselves for each situation. So as I'm going through this, it's just planning ahead for if this, then that. And I have to wait for this to happen. Then I can say that's going to happen. In technical analysis, I'm never anticipating anything. So to ask me, am I hosed on a cover call? I don't know. That's not how it works, right? How it works is I need if this, right, then that, right? If this, then that, right? So that's what that would look like. So if you lose, if this, then that, right? If this, then that. That's what this pathing, we would call pathing, looks like. So for now, this is a decent pullback as it is. Does it have to hold here? No. Can it come back at 133? Yes, but you really don't want it to see, for this trajectory to remain sound, you don't want to see it back inside of this box, essentially. Yeah. If you're back inside this box, then what that tells you is that there just wasn't enough interest to continue to push it up on this trajectory right now into the 150s. And therefore, it does have to come back into this box, possibly even to the low end of that box to collect more buyers. Maybe not all the way down, but somewhere down in the lower end, middle to lower end. And then it can see, maybe you collect some more buyers and it can make another attempt. The only issue with taking along down here is if it makes another attempt, let's say you get a little something like that. If it makes another attempt, but people are not really into the market at that point, you have a higher risk of this happening in that instance.
Right.
So you kind of just stay the course here for the longs and just know, hey, look, 134s or whatever this is, 133.40. You'd like to see hold just because something comes down, it maybe even intraday comes down deep. As long as it's holding above the next day, that's perfectly fine. Palantir is very fast. So it's a very fast moving stock. You just have to be, from a daily perspective, is it consistently making higher highs and higher lows? And from this perspective, even though today is not a higher high, today's low is higher than the last low in this general series. And from a very myopic perspective, even this series from Thursday the 5th, it's just a simple channel up. So at the low end of this very basic series, you would expect this to potentially bounce, maybe not right away, but if this doesn't make another new low tomorrow, it is constructive.
Yeah. Okay. Can we move on to Tessie, which has taken a little bit of a breather from 330 last week? And what do you think about this one?
So Tessie, I think this was a good spot to take the shot. I think that was an easy money type trade we set up. I think that was a very important structure to look at. Now, where have we gone? So remember that 350 area we failed at earlier over here. Again, is it okay if I zoom out a little bit just to give some context?
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to take too much time, but I do think it's important. So this context here, this is the 50% range from this swing high to this swing low. Where we stopped 350 was that 50% retracement. I initially had high hopes of like stretch target, we could get to 390. And as we were on our trajectory, that 50% level is 351. When we lost that, that trade was basically over. That's here. When you zoom in a little bit, you can see like, where's the consolidation here? And at what point did you know kind of like all hope was lost? The base of buyers was at 337, give or take, from that prior consolidation. So remember, we want to look at, so stocks are running and then stocks are resting, right? And then there was a little run, little pullback, little rest, and then a big run, basically in a sour direction. Right now, it's resting, but it's resting in a very precarious position. So the issue is that when you look at this from a chart perspective, the issue is that 337 area, which was support before, it's very like obvious to me, or from a technical perspective, now acting as resistance. And so we call this basically an SR flip. So what was support is now resistance. And what we locked the last couple days is actually a lower high. So right now we're back to a somewhat bearish structure, almost, but not really breaking structure. Because at the same time, so what this is going to end up being is consolidation. Because we do have lower highs and kind of equal highs. We don't actually have lower lows just yet. So each one of these lows is higher. So This is the opposite of like the broadening formations that we'll see on like a Meta or a SOFI. This is lower highs, but also higher lows. So we're getting very close to a point of contention where something's a brewing. You actually don't know which way just yet. I think Tesla's in a spot where it's day tradable, but not really swing tradable. So, meaning like you could take little shots here and there. Let me get rid of some of these arrows. But essentially what's happening is that you're coming into a very tight consolidation range.
Right.
Let me just take these, even if it's just these last two lines, right? So even if it pulls back, and I could probably put probably 200-day simple moving average on it, and our others, I think it's just a wait and see. at the moment. It's a no touch for me. So we have a 20-day, we have a 200-day, and we have a 50 days down here in blue. If you were to take a trade here, so from the upside trade over here, having had that retest, what happens is like your initial target should have been and was 335 to 337. The thing is that's target acquired, and now you have a failure to continue higher. So if you were in this trade from here, at this point, when you have a right here, you have a lower high and you have a lower low, and then you have an equal high right here, this moment, and maybe even yesterday's high, like Monday's high, you need to be out of this trade. And if you're not out of this trade, I don't know what you're doing. But you need to be out of this near-term trade because you're just going to burn volatility and time decay as this waits from an options if you're in options from an options perspective, because this is not ready, right? It's cooking, the oven's preheating, but it's not time to stick the turkey in.
Right. So you wouldn't necessarily be a big buyer at 320. You would want to give it some time to marinate.
Yeah, well, and at that point, I think you come to that, like, I need to have what we would say as a trigger. You need to have like a if this then that rule. Like, I think the whole market's getting to be it's in a bit of a trap zone where we were looking at this on BABA. Right now, you're in the dead center of this consolidation here. That's not where I want to take a trade. I'd rather take a trade at these endpoints, right?
Right.
If I'm going to take a trade. So maybe I take a shot. If this is coming all the way down, okay, I might take a shot to the upside. But like, even when we get here, I have to close out at 325. So that trade is like just under 300 up to 325. Look, from an options trader perspective, that's actually a really good trade. From an equity perspective, it's what is that? Just under 10%. If you're like ultra precise,
yeah,
maybe you're not. And if you don't take profit right away, you might not make anything. And it's very short-term gain, so it's probably not worth your time. And even at the same time, if this comes up and then fails, well, what is that? That's from like 325 to maybe 305. It's not, you have to weigh that risk reward. That's what the trading range is. And the more time that goes by, it's just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until you finally have something that's going to break. But even the first break, you don't believe, because that could easily look like this or that, but something's going to happen. So you want to just kind of put it on your radar. I would still say it's still going to be really this 335 level and this 300 level. One of these two areas, just as it is today, it's either going to really break and go or really break down and really go. Right. One of the two.
Right.
But inside this box, it's more day trading type setup, very short term. You can make good money near term weekly options, but expecting a big move in short order, that's not what you're going to get.
Okay, let's do AMD, because I think AMD deserved it given the week it had over NVIDIA. First of all,
Lisa Stu stock, man.
Yeah,
this Lisa Stu stock?
I mean,
is anybody surprised it's still over this level? Like,
well, so two things. First, I like that you're drinking water. I was going to say I'm about to go get some water. I'll be right back. But number two, I want to give you some credit. Last week, you got bullish right before the breakout, so not too bad.
I mean, it hasn't been bearish for a long time, to be fair, right? And I'm not, I'm an options person, so I need to, for me to take a trade on something like this, I don't want to be sitting in something waiting. I need to be right in terms of time and velocity. So I have to be more like scalpel like precision and be in right where velocity is going to show up so that I can leverage volatility and convexity, if you will. that sounded really difficult. It sounded really complicated, but we talked about it in very basic terms. While this chart is there's a lot of stuff going on here. Let's see if I can try to clean this up. There's a lot of levels. So at this point, if you have an 88, whatever cost basis, I don't think that matters anymore. So like all that matters is where this stock is going for me, right? And I think last time someone talked about, oh, I wanted to hold over 125, and I was like, I don't really care if it holds over 125. That would be great, but it's not like a hard requirement for me, and it's still really not a hard requirement. This is the larger prevailing downtrend here, and these lines, I can almost take these simple moving averages off because we know where they are. I think most people know it's very still squeezy. It's a pretty largely hated stock, I think, still, but the larger downtrend had been broken. Anyways, we're just a little bit extended. We are at the first kind of point where you would expect a little bit of contention. So even AMD, it's always had a history really of being like, oh, you're up 10% one day and then down 6 or 7% the next day. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was down 6% the following day. It's, to be clear, it's not out of the weeds yet. It's just at the first level, the first target, which was right here. So right now we're dealing with that first level of prior support. So, I mean, quite frankly, I think that the market was obviously caught off guard. I don't know if it was caught off guard. The entry, I think, is clean. From an equity perspective, look, if you like AMD long term, then you probably were in here a lot longer. Again, I didn't care about it like that. No offense, but what I'm going to do is here's Christmas, December 20th. What I'm going to do is just take this straight across. This is Christmas, and this is January 15th. Essentially, what this is now is 2025.
Right.
FY 2025. We can call it a pivot. FY 2025 pivot. It's almost like it should be red.
I mean, the last time we saw 130 was back in December.
Yeah. And so it's not like it's gone super far. And we talked about this last week. It was like, I was looking at anything down here. Quite frankly, I wanted 118 to hold, and it didn't hold after the conference. It's very shaky. And I wish I could tell you that I just banked like crazy hard. Truth is, I didn't. The way I took this was that I took small shots, very short dated, and I did make money here. I wanted this, I think it was 118. I wanted this like little area here, because what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to get overly committed. I think it was that. I just remember it being 118. I didn't want to get overly committed. Yeah.
Did you buy options or equity?
So I'll tell you what happened. So I was in here as it was coming up over this hump. So I was in here and we talked about it. This is Monday and this is our technical Tuesday. So I'm in here and I took a little bit profit short term, just a little bit. And then here, I think was the event. And I'm like, oh God, this is getting really ugly. One of these 2 days was the event and it ends up being the sell the news thing. I'm like, okay, I really wanted 118 to hold. It's not holding. I'm not signing off on this. So I ended up buying some equity down here at like 115 or whatever it was. I actually got equity at 115, but only because like it's not ready for options. And then this was Monday morning. Monday morning when it opens over Friday's closing high or Friday's high, this moment. So Monday morning comes in And we're like, if we were going to be going down, this is the Tesla story all over again. Why we spent so much time on the Tesla story is like, if this was going to be really a sell the news event, this would have, I mean, even kind of contended with these lows, but it was just so glaringly obvious that like, okay, we just opened and that first trade low, because I was already in some of this. I actually had, what did I do over here? What I did over here, I moved to August 240 calls. And over here, I had short dated 125 calls, which ended up being like right there. So I had a little bit of profit, nothing crazy. But this happened so fast. And then subsequently, this happened so fast. I was not able to get fully positioned. That said, I have barely trimmed, and I have not trimmed any equity because I do think that I might still get an opportunity to complete this position size if it comes down. This trade is not getting invalidated. It's just not. The only way that this trade is invalidated is if it's below 116.
Right.
Which is a long ways to go. So I will take some precautions on options in terms of what I've done is I've converted some options. So like the August calls, I converted, and just if you didn't catch it, that's not a lot of time. August is not a lot of time. So this is a moment where I don't think that it's going to take a lot of time. And I don't think I want to pay up for a lot of time in options because it's just such a, I think maybe hated stock that it's one of those weird setups where it could just keep going very quickly. And I think that if it does hold, essentially, I want to watch this reaction at 125. I think that we saw it come down just barely to 125 and instantly we saw people buy it up. Maybe it gets a little bit of a pullback, but anything that locks a higher low is going to be constructive for me. But I do have to hedge off some volatility here because this is a huge move.
Right.
So I don't want to be ultra long volatility because we've made a huge move. So I have to use spreads near term. I can convert that to a time spread pretty quickly, but right now it's just a debit spread. And again, so it's a 140 for August, but I think that the trajectory could be well, I would be happy with the 150, which is going to be very much like like that Tesla trade. 150 is that 50% retracement from this swing high to this swing low. That's 150. But 170 is that kind of sweet spot also. So essentially what the trade looks like, the trade looks like this from that 2025 pivot. That is the trade. And it goes to here. So that's a very large, from a trader's perspective, this is a 15-to-1 risk reward. It's pretty clean from a trading perspective. I don't think so, but because of the way options are priced, like I just need to take this little chunk. I think 150 is going to be fine. I don't know that I don't need to pay up for anything in the 170. So I don't want any premium over that. That's crazy. But with AMD having been so depressed, I kind of feel like it could be a beach ball type momentum, like one of those squeezy moments where like beach ball, meaning like it's been held underwater for so long. I think that's what we saw is 10% move. It's held underwater for so long and it's like boom, and then boom, and then boom out of nowhere. So I don't really want to close either, but every time I get a press, it's like, all right, well, you got to do something.
Okay, so Trump is not live yet. When he does go live, guys, I will stop us and go to him. I don't think he's scheduled to go live, but the national security meeting did end about 30 minutes ago, so there might be a statement coming up pretty soon.
Are they interested in? So what do they want to know about Or what do you want to know about AMD moving forward?
No, I think you kind of showed it. 175 is kind of the upside you're seeing. So that's pretty much
Okay.
good from that side. Hoodie. What were you thinking about this one?
I actually like the close today.
Dude, I like that we've been holding 74, 75 without S&P.
I love that we've been holding that without S&P.
I mean, imagine if we did get S&P. Who knows? Maybe we would be in the 80s, like, and holding it. By the way, real quick,
without S&P.
Yeah, well, that seems possible. Iranian State TV says tonight a great surprise will occur, one that the world will remember for centuries. Okay, so we'll see later tonight. We got to keep that in mind.
How are you guys doing with
there.
all this? Scary.
It's Iran. We got to see. You know, they've threatened for a long time. So the question now is just, you know, do they actually go heavy for it? But in terms of the event today, did you? I don't know if you caught the event, but it was basically bringing Legend to mobile. Obviously, they have a crypto event coming soon. They got upgraded to $80 by Mizuho today. It seems like the catalysts are in their corner.
Dude, I don't know what to say.
That's also true. It's not a surprise if they tell us. That's also true. I mean, so it's not really a surprise there. Anyway, yeah, Hood. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Like it's another special stock, dude. That's all I can say. It's a special stock. I mean, it's probably going to go down top 10 worst decisions selling any of it, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Still have some nightmares, not going to lie.
I mean, look, it was the market collapsed in April. It was a scary time for everybody, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's what it is. I think there's a good chance. It's peaky.
It's one of those stocks that's making you think it could do a pound here. It's got a founder. It's got constant innovation. It's not a SaaS business, so it is more cyclical, but the catalysts are there and the momentum is there.
When did me and you, first talk about Robinhood?
I believe when it was around $15 is when we really started.
But you have to acknowledge, at least from my perspective, it was always Palantir versus like it was always those two from the gate, from the get-go. Those were always the two. Like if you want a Palantir like Hood, Palantir like potential story in the market, it's Robinhood. Yeah. But even when they were both $8, meaning like I would always compare those two. I would always compare those two in terms of like potential, whether it's cult status or general, like they're gonna grab hold of whatever it is that they do and just go.
Well, the thing is, Palantir was 15 by the time I had gotten interested in Hood, and Hood was 8. So that's why I never really saw them that eye to eye. Because by December 2023, Palantir was at 15.20. Hood was, barely.
It was already beating Hood. Okay, got it.
So I kind of moved on, and I was like, all right, Hood's the next one. But then Hood decided to.
Yeah. Okay. So Palantir and Hood were both 8 for me.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe both 6 actually, something like that. Quite frankly. But yeah, they were both $8 for a very long time, and Palantir just like bad out of hell. But Robinhood to this day, dude, is still seen like a brokerage to a lot of Wall Street large funds, and I think that's just a huge misunderstanding, which that in itself is like one day they'll figure it out.
Right.
One day they'll figure it out.
So overall, you like it here. You think it just continues its momentum?
Is Robinhood outperforming Palantir year to date?
Let me check right now. So Palantir stock year to date is up 83%. Hood stock year to date, 90%.
Oh, I mean, it's a tight race. It's a tight race.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not much to. I might say it's going to be close. It's going to be close. We'll see. So anyways, Robinhood is it's a cool looking chart, but it is very much in consolidation. It's a very nice uptrend here. So this is let's be clear, this is very steep from an uptrend perspective, but it is a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? And so if this trend, let's say, were to continue on, I would actually expect right here, right now, to be another spot where we bounce, if that's the case. Now, market conditions, would have to, in that scenario, market conditions are important. But this is the area, right? So 72.50, actually, that's kind of like the center line here. That's where Robinhood kind of hit today. If I look at this from a daily perspective, today, I think we closed in the middle, but as I look at this, it's like, did Robinhood open green? Yeah, it really tried.
We opened at 77 today.
Yeah, look at that. It really tried to go green. So as a technician, chartist, whatever you want to call it, I look at this and I was like, okay, so initial sentiment is like bullish, right? But not enough interest to get you there. And then we have this, what we call inefficiency in the market below, which is fine. But the intraday trade, Tesla 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 story is that if this is yesterday's range, if this was really going to be bearish, it shoulda, coulda, woulda closed below 73.39, yesterday's low. But as I watched it intraday, because I did watch it intraday, the second that it got there, and I mean the second that it got there, it was like, we're buying, boom. And they bought it, and this is the close. And it's like, oh man, people are still buying this every chance they get. So
I almost bought it at 73.50 today, dude. I thought that was the dip.
Almost. I literally saw your order go through on the tape.
It's 100,000 shares, bro.
Yeah, dude. But you weren't the only one, is my point, right? So people are still accumulating. So the story is still spreading. I don't think everybody's in. And so yeah, it's still
developing. That's fair.
I think it's still developing. Can it be rocky? Absolutely. Right. Like, is it still possible that I get freaked out, be like, this position is too big? Probably. But I don't think I'm going to make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
At this point.
Okay. NVIDIA. What are you thinking about this one?
But yeah, I think trajectory wise, if this is it, if we do consolidate in this whole thing, the thing is, so can I ask the chat a question?
Yeah, go
ahead. So market goes to hell in a handbasket. First stock on your shopping list. That's my question.
As in, if we get a massive dip?
Yeah. Let's say market goes to hell in a handbasket, meaning.
Give us a number, like 20% down, 10% down. What do you?
Oh, well, you guys, do they know what? So the dip would be 565 on SPY at least. And so that, how many percentage is that?
I think that's about 7%. A little in that range. Yeah, basically 5 to 7%.
Well, from this highs, yeah, 7% at least is what it would be.
Dude, it would be my same 3. Hood and NVIDIA, based on how cheap they get.
It could be 15. They say, what do they say? Oh, Google.
There's a lot of Palantirs, there's a lot of Hoods, there's a lot of NVIDIAs, which would be my 3.
Hoods, Palantirs, NVIDIAs.
A bunch of AMDs.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if AMD is, I don't know if I would buy AMD on that.
Meta, there's a bunch of Metas. I like that. If Meta gets back to 600, I mean.
Well, NVIDIA, Meta would get hit hard. That would be more like 450s.
On a 7% S&P dip, Meta goes to 450?
Yeah, well, because it's high beta at that point.
I don't know.
And Hood would get hit first, because what we would be talking about really would we be talking about global GDP coming down. That's what the storyline would be. Not that it would be right. It'd be the fear of, I like Jared, Palantir, Hood, NVIDIA.
Oh, why'd you ask the
then-
question? Is there a stock you're thinking of? Or
Is there
just-
what?
Is there a stock? Why'd you ask the question? You're thinking of
Well,
a name?
because I just generally speak. Oh, this is your channel, so like those would be the ones. So if the sentiment is Palantir, Hood, NVIDIA, I think that's if we were to take a poll, and I'm just scrolling through the comments. That looks like, broadly speaking,
We got some hymns in there. We got some
yeah.
metas.
But if generally that's the biggest votes, that's what I would want to see. That's the best sign that hopefully Hoodie holds the test.
I see what you. So you want to know if Hoodie can survive if we get another one of those markets? Gotcha.
Yeah, because the financials like this, the fintech, usually fintech. So if you remember, if you remember, Hoodie's dip was the first and the fastest.
Yeah.
And then it was Palantir.
Yeah.
Right after Palantir was fast, but Hoodie came first. And usually it is fintech that happens first. It was so heartbreaking. And it wasn't fast to recover, but eventually it did.
Dude, and I had to sell it. I had to sell some of my shares to pay taxes at the time. Like, it happened at the worst time.
Oh, that's horrible.
But I did sell higher than the absolute low. Like, I didn't have to sell at 29 or anything like that. But still.
Yeah. So this is still. So if you crack 77s, like a full day's trade, open and close, like we're talking about before. So clearly it's 80, but that's a psychological level. I mean, oh wow, dude, we are here. Wow. This could be a while, but we are here. We are at the level. My guy, we are at the 75, the magic number.
Why is that magic? Is that the Fibonacci zone?
Well, if we get to 75, then we get to 80. And then, stocks that cross 80, where they go. Wow.
Dude, if we get to 120 by end of year, that would be crazy.
Yo.
That'd be crazy.
Then Hoodie would outperform, right? I would just assume. I don't know.
Yeah, there is definitely a possibility. Okay, can we do NVIDIA?
Oh, I'm sorry. We are so distracted, guys. So NVIDIA is really trying. It's really trying. I think the whole market is just like this, and maybe we could talk just general sentiment and where we are too, because this is a good idea. When you see stuff like this, I think what we're setting up for is a bit of exhaustion. So in general, even Palantir and yes, to an extent, even Hood, it's like they're really trying. They're buying this up, but at the same time, we're still, on Hood, whatever, we're still not really able to crack through these levels. 145 is the psychological level at the moment for NVIDIA, which is the highs over here. And I just basically did a straight across line. It's a big psychological level. I don't think, like it's this order block. This is another till pickle here. You're in a pickle. That's a big one. I don't think you're going to be able to say that you're out of even if you get a 150 close here, I don't think you're going to be able to say you're out of the weeds from here on, unless you're like 155s weekly, full week over, because this is setting up for some chop. Because you have made it. You have arrived. So from your trade thesis, from when, what was your entry? You're in the 120s.
My average is 117 on NVIDIA.
117. So your thesis back in the day was 160s, right?
Yeah.
Which may or may not have been from a fundamental perspective. I don't know. But if you were a trader, this is where you stop. Although you had a 160 target, like this is where we would tell you to take down 70% of your size or aggressively sell your cover calls, because you are at extreme resistance right now, like extreme resistance. Maybe you get like that blow off top, but you're risking what you're risking is exhaustion, which, you know, long term, I don't know that you even care, quite frankly. That would be to 136s and back into that, like back and fill. You're risking time and whatever opportunity costs may arise if you decide to view it as opportunity costs, because you risk having to back and fill here for what could be a wait to next quarter in August, at least, and whatever may happen between now and then.
So you think there's not enough moment? It's trying, but there's not enough juice to get to all-time highs at these levels. Like it needs a catalyst, like an earnings.
Yeah. So, well, it doesn't have to be earnings, but to your point, the chart is not enough investor sentiment or interest now to blast it through these levels. It's really trying, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4. The issue is this last 2 days, and it might just be what's going on in the market. It looks okay.
You're essentially saying there's no volume.
There is volume, but you want to see it crack pretty soon, and I think it's possible, but you want to keep this on a shorter leash. This is a situation where I might even swap out for calls. Maybe in the money calls or maybe near dated calls. I could look at it, but just because you want to keep the upside on, but you also, if you do get a failure here. So what we look at this yesterday's high, this is called a look above and fail. So it took the first shot. It might take multiple shots. So if it's going to take this shot, and then again, we don't know what's going to happen tonight or tomorrow or whatever with FOMC, right? Maybe FOMC does something. I don't know that it'll be for NVIDIA. So you have some catalysts around the corner. So if throughout these catalysts, okay, keep me posted.
Yeah, we'll switch whenever Trump makes his address.
We'll need a trigger word or something. It's trying. You have one shot, but you know, we have 2 shots fail. You could have 3 on the third shot. If third shot could be big, and if the third shot fails, then the third fail is going to be bigger. But somewhere along the line, if it takes the 4th shot, it damn well better happen, because if it doesn't do it, it's sideways at best for a long time. So you have to basically monitor it here, because you're banging your head up against this 1, 2, 3. This 4th attempt did break through, which is what you did want to see, but it hasn't held yet. And I think this is mostly headline driven because of whether it's Amazon's Trinium announcement today, which might be hoo-ha, or AMD upgrade, which might be hoo-ha. It's like, something.
Yeah.
Which may be nothing. So I think it might be timing. But yeah, it's trying, but it's not doing it yet.
By the way, stablecoin bill just passed in the Senate, officially live. So that is now in Circle flat after hours, but yeah, that's there. Okay, can we do SOFI?
I keep getting this alert, and the alert keeps showing up as like little rocket ship emojis. Because like, dude,
on what? On any stock or just?
No, on SOFI.
No, on SOFI.
Because of that thing. Where's my?
I think we closed just under 14 or 15 today. SOFI. Oh, 1438. It was down 3%.
Yeah, because it keeps traversing through the level. So the level was here, 1476. So I keep getting pinged every time it's traversing through the level. So I'm like, oh, it's not holding it. It's really trying. So it's really trying. I mean, it's a big, I think it's the market. I think we're in a very trappy moment. Again, higher lows. It's not bearish. That death cross, let's check on that death cross. I'm pretty sure it's invalidated here. Yep. So funny. So that death cross took too long to fire downside, has now turned into a golden cross. Look at that. Very quickly.
Yeah. We talked about that last week.
Yep. How horrible of signals these are. It could equally as quickly turn into another death cross. Because of where it is. But they're just sitting on each other. It's brewing. But it is right on edge. SoFi trades like a bank. The market treats it like a bank. FOMC coming. I think it's explosive here, depending on maybe, I don't know. Do you think JPL is going to cut rates? I don't
know. I think he would cut if we didn't have these tariffs, but we're not.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he would have no excuse. But there's a 99% chance we don't get a cut tomorrow. So, but the question is, how hawkish does he talk? And I don't know. I kind of think he's not going to be that hawkish, but
yeah, I was looking at CPI week over week or month over
that was
month.
good. Last week was really good on both.
Maybe it wasn't CPI.
CPI and PPI were the lowest since basically spring of 2020.
Yeah, but
we're doing Rocket Lab next.
Okay. Yeah, one of these two. Not that one. Yeah, this one. So I was looking at this is headline. So like headline, we're going to drop off 0%. So the headline, if we're in okay, so if we're positive at the headline month over month, then year over year headline is going to increase, right?
Yeah.
So that's all. That's the only thing that I was seeing is like we have these 2 zeros that we're going to drop off. I'm like, well, inflation is going to look like it's going up probably, unless we're going to get a negative. There's no way it's not going to look like it's going up because of what we're dropping. You want to look at Rocket Lab?
Yeah. This one's been stuck between 24 and essentially 29, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it had that big move. I don't hate it because I just feel like it was overheated up here. And I almost think like it was overdone to the downside because, yeah, it was overheated, but I think it was like an anti-Elon move these 2 days, but it came back down just under 25, which was, I think, an overshoot to the downside and now kind of hanging out. So I actually like Rocket Lab here.
Okay.
Did I buy Rocket Lab the other day? I might have bought a couple.
Your boy Redwire diluted us today. That one got hit.
I make a phone call.
Rocket Lab did their dilution like a year ago, so I don't think they have to worry about that.
This is like a $3 billion. We probably shouldn't even talk about this.
I know it's a small cap.
It's a 1.29. It's a micro.
Yeah, but it made sense for them to do. They were up so much. It made sense for them to.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, did you know Machine Shop got a new customer that's like doing all kinds of crazy orders? ASTS something.
We'll talk about that.
I'm not joking, dude.
Can we do that? I mean, we're already on space. Let's do ASTS, and then we'll do hymns after.
I thought that was the funniest thing ever, dude. Really, dude. Really.
This thing is at all-time highs.
Wow.
No revenue yet. Are you in this one at all?
I gotta call. Tell you, what the hell are they building? They're throwing out a bunch of orders over here. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, they're expanding aggressively. I mean, that we know for sure.
Yeah, he's killing it, dude. He pulled like $1 million. I know he's holding this thing. I would not have thought. I honestly, I would have thought this would have been back by now. I'm putting me an alert.
Some of the charts I was looking at says, wait for 3250 for an entry. I don't know if you feel the same if someone wanted a pullback.
Why 3250? Did they tell you why?
200 EMA, I think, was the argument.
No, it's not even close to that.
Or there was something else then they said. But it's one of my boys. He's made a lot on ASTS calls. And he was just like, you got to wait on this one.
Oh, yeah, I agree. You have to wait.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a hot stock right now, but buying it at all time, unless it's gonna go to 50, 60 and just keep maintaining momentum with no revenue, then I don't know.
Story stocks, man.
It's a story stock, yeah. There's a hell of a story to this.
Yeah, 3250 is 50% retracement from the swing low to swing high, and it's going to align with this topping formation here. I'm not sure it would stop there. You see 3250, you're very likely going to see 30.
Sorry, it was the 9 EMA, not the 200 EMA.
Good God, the 9 is over there?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this is a volatile one.
Yo, no, the 9 is 36. Oh, you said EMA. I don't use that.
We did a deep dive on this a week ago, and I mean, there is a massive Colton community on this one, but I also do feel like it's at all-time highs. It's up there, but I could be wrong. Maybe all-time highs just gives you more all-time highs. Eric said I felt that spit on my face.
It's the 9 EMA is at okay, so no, it's what I said. The 9 EMA is at 6. But anyways, yeah, 3250 is better if you're going to go from that perspective.
I think you buy into strength if you already have a position that you're averaging up on, or you deeply believe in the story. And at least for me, none of those conditions qualify for me, which is why.
I heard you did a show
On ASTS?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but like, it's not enough to be convicted after an hour, you know?
Oh. Yeah, there's a little volume shelf here. That's about 3275. I think 3275, like for sure, you can put a little watch on it. Like, see how I keep doing this? Like I'll throw these little things out here, and then I'll put like an alert. You guys know how to put alerts out.
Yeah.
Like, then throw a little alert, make you look at the stock.
Trump is not live yet, by the way, guys. He might do it at like prime time from the Oval Office. If it goes, I mean, then it would be more serious. But as of now, he's not live yet.
Yeah, I do like the 30-50 level better, though. But it's just, you know, you look at something like this and you're like, $30.50. The thing's at $40. I'm like, oh, look, Hood was 60 and we got to buy at 30.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. Okay, cool. Can we do hymns? What are you thinking about this one?
Well, so before we even click enter, it's been a no touch for 2 weeks, right? Maybe 3. That battle between the Bulls and the Bears.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's right there still. So it was a very tight battle. It almost, the Bulls almost won. They won, I think, the very near term battle because the near term was in here. Very near term. But it seems that they were not convicted enough to get them through quite yet. So they have won this near term battle where it was from here to here, essentially. and they were buying. They kept buying up here, and then the bears kept selling here. So this day, finally, somebody stepped up and flipped the script again, blew through that level. And then whoever bought right here, looks like they bought again, but is yet to get through this 59. So there's a little bit more work to do. You don't want to see this below 58. You don't really want to see this below 58. If you are below 58, it's not the end of the world either. You're just basically back into this, box that you were stuck in for a long time, and the story continues. But that 58 it's not even just 58. It's like it's 62 right here. So the bigger, see this, it's like a little volume shelf right here, this guy. So what happened was that you got that little explosion. Finally, once you crossed over, you got that explosion right into that volume shelf, but it stopped kind of at a dime. And then you can pull this straight across and see, oh, okay. Well, you still got some more work to do. So this still has some grinding, but I think the first minor bottle has been won for now. So 1 down, 1 to go.
Right. I think it's been doing a decent job in the 50s. I mean, I think I bought a 55 yesterday. My average is 54. So
that was your order.
That was my order. Yeah.
Got it.
So if it stays in this 50 to 55 range, I think that's where I pick up shares. Okay, cool. So that's HIMS. Can we do SMCI? What do you think about this one?
I don't like.
You've hated this stock for so long.
I will not. I mean, okay, my bias aside, right? I think that it's also like it's gone sideways for too long for me to be like, it's too long. So like if there was gonna be, it's gone sideways far too long. Like this.
Isn't that a good thing?
No.
Why?
Because there's not enough interest. Like it can't take this long. This is too long. So it doesn't mean it's going to go down, but it means like something's about to happen. I think like if I were to trade this, dude, it's too long at too critical of a level. I would almost straddle this. Like if you want to straddle it. No, I don't even know that I could do that. Straddle, strangle, swap. You don't know what that is. Like long-term, like straddle, short-term strangle, or long-term strangle, short-term straddle. 44.50. I just don't think you can anticipate on this one. If you anticipate here, I mean, look at what's happened. Like if you've been anticipating, meaning like I feel like something's going to happen. Well, you've been feeling like something's going to happen for a while. It's like Tesla. Like I can feel like something's going to happen for a long time, but I'm like, I will strategically place a bet when it's happening. Until then, it's like, you can place little placeholders and maybe like monitor something, which is kind of like what I'm doing right now in the market. But it's not like I'm ready to pounce. And this is sure not ready to pounce here. You'll know when it's ready to pounce, but it's not like what are you going to trade? You 44 to 47? That's not a bite-sized piece. That's not a big enough chunk for me to.
Look, I agree with you. I don't know what the catalyst is.
Juicy? Like that's like, dude.
I agree. I don't think you're wrong on this. And again, like maybe NVIDIA has a good quarter or something, but NVIDIA already had a good quarter and nothing happened. So
yeah, well, Dell's in a very similar situation too. It's like a very similar setup, but you can look at it and be like, I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
I mean, I've been to the show a little too many times. Even with Dell, I like Dell. Don't get me wrong, but like, she not ready. I like it, but I can't. The whole market, I like it. You know what the market is right now? The market is like, okay, it's getting good. Something's about to go down, and we're all going to make a lot of money. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think that we're all going to have an opportunity to make a lot of money. It's just a matter of whether or not you're too early and you premature allocation. Premature allocation is not going to be fun.
It's not. It's never.
It's not going to be fun, because if we get that real dippy dip and you allocate now, oh man, it will work out. It will eventually all work out, but you'll be like hitting yourself, and then you're going to sell at the lows is what's going to happen. You allocate now, you go too heavy because, Amit's a permeable or whatever you want to call him, love and death, but he's a permeable, right? and it will work out, but you go too heavy here now, you're going to be like, freak out, overexposed, me, hood, whatever, at the highs, and sell at the absolute lows. That's what you're going to sell at, the absolute lows. And then you're going to look back, me, hood, and you're going to say to yourself, I should never have sold.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. So premature allocation, dude, that's all I'm going to say. It's a real thing. We got to be very cautious. There is a huge opportunity on the horizon. Maybe it's here at this point in the charts. Maybe it's not, right? I'm okay putting some starters out there here now. I think that's perfectly valid, but I can't, I don't want to get too I don't like, pop, and then I have nothing to shoot later on.
That's a very intriguing premature allocation noise you made as well. Can we do grabby grab? Can we do grabby grab?
Oh, little recovery here.
Recovery.
Is this the moment that we were looking for?
I don't know.
Let's take a little look-see.
All I know is they raised enough money for them to be 45% cash of their market cap, and something will happen with that. I don't know.
Well, all I know is that the level that we were talking about has been reclaimed.
Yes.
And that was the moment.
That's true.
It's just like this. These are the moments. So I think that the stock market in general is just like this. We call this liquidity grab. Liquidity grab. It's going to be like, oh, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. You're going to sell it all at the absolute lows.
So you buy calls. You buy the calls, baby.
No, you don't buy calls here because it really could go lower.
Well,
it really could. You buy calls here. 466.
No, I bought calls at the bottom. I legit. If 458 was the bottom, then I bought calls.
I mean, dude, you may or may not have made more money if you bought calls at 466, though. I'll tell you that much. That's fair. That's true. But because down here, it's like the market thinks that but this is a good learning criteria. So this is good. So here, no, it's not. It's when you have this. So day 2 was important to watch. It didn't fall out, but you're not closing at the highs. That's not good enough to add necessarily. It's this moment that is like this is the clencher. This is the clench, right? When you're like, it's happening, right? You're holding on. You have a decent close, but you're like, dude, you're not over the low. You're not over that low. And it could be an ugly open. And it does open ugly in the free market. And you're watching like, it's still not over the low. And then it closes really bad. This moment right here, this is the moment that most people are like, I'm out. And that's what I mean. You sold the low right here. A lot of people, they out. Yeah. Right there at the actual low. And somehow you buy it, right? But this moment, this morning, that's when I come in and I swoop it and I hammer. Boom. but I honestly, I don't play here. I watch and I wait, but I play here.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't, you could try. The thing is, like, people are like, oh, let me know where to buy. It's like, I don't try to snipe the low. I don't. It's a dangerous game. I don't try to pick tops or pick bottoms. I just want to know, ideally, where some areas would be to watch, and then what needs to happen when they get there. And this is what we would call a trigger. So now you do need to see, it's still not out of the weeds. Now you need to see this back over. Ooh, it's not horrible, not out of the weeds. Still need to see this back over. Where was that? So 495. For the full recovery to commence, you do need to get over 495. I think there's a possibility that you get here and you are not out of the woods and you still have some consolidating to do. And maybe you just have to let some more people into your trade and not be so greedy sometimes.
Yeah.
And it goes sideways for a little bit because things don't just go to the moon.
Meta. Back to 700.
Lower highs. Ouch. I mean, it's not surprising. That's a lower high. So you have a lower high here. That's a consolidation at best, which means that, so this is the market. Lower highs is trade complete. Next trade is going to set up. Lower high, second lower high, closing at the lows. I think this is just concern right now, or worry, because of the imminent headlines. You're not breaking structure by any means. It is 700.
The WhatsApp stuff yesterday is really what pushed it over the edge.
It is, but it pushed it right into a. That's what this was. This is choppy. It pushed it right into the highs, and it was met with resistance. So I think it needs something else. This could be like Netflix, where like Netflix is keep 1250. It's there. And it just needs to hold here for a while. Can you believe Netflix is still at 1250? Like, good God.
Oh yeah, we got to do Netflix too. That's crazy.
Did we? I mean, we just signed off because like everybody's like, we missed it, dude. We missed it. It's gone.
Well, you're in Netflix. You have it, right?
Disney, dude.
Oh, don't get.
I'm with Bobby.
I don't like Disney at all, but
clearly,
Chris likes it. I don't know if you like it. I'm not a fan.
What, Disney?
Yeah, I don't see that.
I love it.
You should buy more of it then.
I was thinking about it, actually. But anyways, I think it's just a multiple expansion. I think, well, you come from a growth background, right? Chris comes from a value investor. He's like grandpa, right? Chris is like grandpa's age. Me too, like dad close.
But it's not value or growth. It's like, what's the thesis on it? There's no.
It's a multiple expansion thesis, is what it is.
Why would you expand the multiple for Bluey? Like, what are you talking about?
Absolutely for Bluey, dude. Absolutely for Bluey, for ESPN, for Bluey, for Star Wars.
That's not a reason you expand the multiple.
It is, though.
You guys have a weird
argument. For MRR, for subscription income in general, for ad revenue, none of that's in there at all.
What do you mean none of that's in there? That's the entire thesis.
It's not, dude.
That's the entire stock. What are you talking about?
It's not, dude. Telling you.
You're telling me Disney Plus subscription revenue is not factored into the stock right now?
No.
I disagree.
Okay.
I would disagree.
It's a lot of park revenue. Dude, Disney's a very complicated company.
Yeah.
But anyways, are we done with Meta? We can move on to the next one.
We're done with Meta. Okay, let's do
Yeah, I think Meta's just like a hold. You got to be over 710. And I think we did this last week. So you can timestamp this, but go back to last week. You have a little bit of a push here. I think so across the board, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at some kind of blow off top moments. Can I take a minute? Use this as an example. So you pulled up a trade last week, was JP Morgan. This is very similar. We're maybe even NVIDIA. We're banging our heads up against this right now, like brick walls, brick wall. something's going to happen in the market where either we're just going to get completely shellacked or we're going to bust through these walls.
Yeah.
And you're going to know very quickly, because if we bust through these walls, there's going to be a moment. And when I say we're all going to make some money, depending on your sentiment, maybe you trade this downside on whatever it is. Maybe you sit on your hands and you wait for this big upside, or maybe you're here sitting watching with some placeholders with some kind of strategic bets up here, because when this comes, that ain't stopping, baby. That's what I'm saying. And this is going to be in a very short order. So I don't think you need a lot of time here. So I think you can have some strategic bets in this area with some strategic hedges at the same time in this area, in case all hell breaks loose. In this scenario, right? So like, you just have to look at that's from an options perspective. So I think there's a big opportunity on the horizon for options people. I think, yeah, there's some serious stuff going on in the Middle East that might involve us that is completely different than anything we've actually been dealing with in the past. But at the same time, if it's over sooner than people, if we freak out and then it ends sooner than people might be thinking, that's a catalyst, right? Because everybody's going to pile back in.
Yes.
Very quickly, and that's going to create a Tesla-like squeeze, but at the entire market level. And so I think we could be in a very trappy moment where we could get flushy for a moment. It's possible, which becomes a catalyst. So when I say very premature allocation, if you're prematurely allocating here and you get that moment where you're actually breaking support, like Grab, where you're actually breaking support, and you're looking at this chart on a daily, and it's going to be ugly like this, and you're going down like AMD.
Yeah.
And it's going down only to have something hit overnight. I don't know. And all of a sudden, stocks are ripping one way or the other, right? Like to the upside. Either you're over leveraged long and we're just completely tanking at the absolute wrong time for you. Just anyways. Or you'll, do you understand what I'm saying? So like, my point is, be available at the market in this moment in time. It's a very critical pivot. It's a pivotal moment that is more about sitting and patiently waiting and being ready with the precision strike at the right time to deploy, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I think
Sorry.
that makes a lot of sense.
But if you do it right, I think there's a lot of opportunity here.
So I don't think you know much about this, or maybe you do, but OSCR Health, anything you're seeing on the technicals here that are exciting to you?
Yeah, I think it bases around $14, and we've been having these springs to 16s. It's a fundamental story, though. Big growth company. I think healthcare. I think that I think this is not a good stock to chart, right? I will chart it. I'll tell you $16 is resistance, but if you're in OSCR, you should be in OSCR for a long time. You should love this long time, not short time, right?
Agreed.
This is not a short time stock. This is long time stock. This is Hoodie $8. This is Palantir $15.
Agreed.
So yeah, you own OSCR, you buy it as close to $14 as you can, and you don't give a shit about 16.
OSCR is basically Hood with 8 billion market cap, 6 billion in cash. It's not exactly those numbers, but it's like that. So if you're buying this, you should be buying this thinking a year from now you're getting a double.
At least.
Yeah.
And that if it goes to bankrupt, then it is what it is, right? Like, so that's my point. I think it's a disservice to chart this. Did I say that?
Well, it's definitely getting a lot of retail interest, this stock.
I think, dude, if you're gonna pick another one to do a little stream on, there you go.
Should be OSCR. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, cool. So let's do Apple, which is in my ETF. If you saw the stock draft, I somehow,
Dude, I don't
some reason
watch
picked
the
this
things
stock.
that I don't get invited to. First of all, let's be clear. Right?
Okay. First of all, we only had 5 people that we could do. Otherwise, it already lasted 3 hours with 5 people. But second of all, I did not think I would take this. I saw this as the only Mag 7 left, and I was like, screw it. I'm taking Apple. And I kind of regret it, though. I only like it for a contrarian perspective, but in general, there is
What's the
nothing
time
big-
frame on this?
a year.
Oh,
I don't know if there's anything to be
a
excited about.
year?
Yeah. A year from now, dude.
Well, how many units? How are we measuring this? In units or like
Percentage
Percentage?
return. And my price as of yesterday that I'm starting with is 198.42.
no. I mean, is it a portfolio return or
Yeah, so this is what it looks like. It is. So the guys, this is the actual one that Steve sent me. So currently Matt is in the lead. He's only down negative 0.19. I'm
that's
second.
good? I
I'm
like it.
down 0.78, so I'm second. Or sorry,
you
I'm
got,
third.
you got an Oscar price at $14.95. You literally bought the top just now. I love it.
Yeah.
Go. Oh no, that's Matt.
That's Matt. Steve is down negative 0.18. He's second. I'm third, negative 0.78. Chris is actually leading because he's up 0.09, so he's beating all of us. And then Tanner is down the worst, negative 1.81.
Probably get that SOFI in there.
He
Does
does
he
not
not have SOFI?
Mr. Matt Money took his SoFi.
Oh wait, you guys can only pick one.
No, Tanner had 3 opportunities to pick SoFi, and he chose not to. So
Wow.
yeah, it's I got
Ooh,
Pound Your
Matt,
Hood in
like,
testing,
what's
bro.
going on here? Tanner, 3 opportunities.
He cheated on her
this
3
is a
times, bro.
This is a big flippening.
3 times to cheat on her? I was like, goodness, that's
Wow.
a bit much.
All right. Well, send me the spreadsheet.
I'll send it.
Well, it's over now, huh? It's all locked up.
We're gonna be tracking it, yeah, for the next year. Yeah.
Who took
Who took what?
I don't know what the options were, but
I'll send you the list after. But do you think Apple is in a no man's territory with liquid glass being their major innovation?
no, I mean today, but you have a year. I just don't think that's the story in this moment. Stories change, right? We don't invest in companies, or we don't invest in companies for the story today, right? And so like if you're talking about Apple as like today's story, like what are you even doing? Like I don't understand. You invest in companies for Alex Karp, for Vlad, and for the innovation to be behind their teams and their ability to pick talent. So Tim is having a little rough spot, admittedly.
By the way, real quick, Jason, I'm gonna let you
Let's go.
finish. You can actually help me with this because you read option flows really well.
Mhm.
Someone put in a 41 million share order for Grab at 480 at the close. It says 60 million shares is the volume. You can probably see it on Thinkorswim, but only 20 million were traded during the day. Do you see that, or is this completely wrong?
Trade flash grab. Were you seeing that time in sales?
Yeah. 40. Who the hell is buying 41 million shares? And how's that not moving this? I mean, it depends how they're executing the trade, but stock's flat stock's actually down after hours. Yeah, volume. Weeble's telling me 68 million. Let me see if Legend says the same. That is way above the average. Amit's looking at his own order. Yes, exactly. That is a weird one. I don't think that's a bug. Yeah, Robin, it says 68 million. Average volume is 35 million. 40 of that 68 million, it looks like is coming after hours. Unless this is like a fake order or something that's spoofing all the brokerages.
Oh, it's not.
I don't think it was a stock buyback. They just did one for 300 million. I doubt they would do another one.
Do you want them to be doing a stock buyback?
No, not, they already did. I'd let them. No, I don't want them to be doing it. Not right now.
I see the volume.
So what does that mean? Because you've seen this stuff before, right? Like, why is the stock
I
not
don't watch
moving?
dark pool.
No, but it's not dark pool. You can see it. It's not dark pool,
I can see it.
which makes it weirder. That was weird. That was very weird. Nancy Pelosi, dude. If Pelosi buys in, oh my god, dude. When she buys Palantir, that's when you know it doesn't matter what price Palantir is in. You buy Palantir once Pelosi finally buys.
Yeah.
That's weird. All right, I'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if there's anything to that later.
That is weird.
It's weird, right? Like 40 million shares is.
Yeah, because I mean that's not option flow, so I don't really watch this, but
It feels like it's a toot. It feels like it's a toot that just, put in an
it
order.
has to be.
It has to be.
Well, 41 million is. I mean, what was the volume on the day? The volume on the day
28
was,
million, I believe.
yeah. So you can't. It cannot be. It can't be right. It has to be them. Like it has to. Because like as an owner of a company, you can't exceed, I think it's 10% of the average day's volume of an average day's volume. Like it's not, you can't. So like there has to be some kind of exception going on of some sort. I don't know. It's just very weird. I don't know if it's gone through or not.
All right, we'll keep you guys updated on that. All right, so Apple, my question is a year from now, how are you seeing this play out, and is the chart giving you any indication that it's breaking below 150? Because that's the fear. I think.
So technical analysis doesn't go really that far out. Like you can swag it, but that is again not exactly how TA works. You can try to make it work that good, but okay. So I would have to at least be looking at a monthly chart in order to even think like that. So here now, yeah, I mean, a year from now, it's possible.
I mean, are you nervous at all based on WWDC? Like, first of all, do you hold your Apple or did you sell out?
I bought a little back.
Steve's thinking of getting rid of all of it for NVIDIA. And he loves Apple. He loves it. So
I'm not thinking about buying NVIDIA.
Okay.
No offense to NVIDIA. I just.
But are you thinking of buying more Apple below 200 then?
No.
Okay.
Thinking about buying more hood.
So you're not bearish or bullish on Apple, basically.
I think Apple has a spot. So I'm a trader and an investor, but so I like Apple. Here's the trend, right? So from this perspective, I'm like, it's decisively in a bearish trend. So from a trend perspective, you cannot deny that this is, if I were to go long Apple, it's counter trend, meaning like I'm going against the trend. That said, it's at the low end. It's at the absolute low end of its trend. So this is where you would want to buy it, right? So like, yeah, I bought some Apple. Did I put a lot of money in Apple? No. No. I'd rather have more hood, but maybe not today. Anyways, that said, from this perspective, I'll take this way. If this is the last high, again, monthly, if I'm thinking yearly, I have to at least be looking monthly. If this is the last low, I'm not really going to count this, but even if I did, if this is the last series of lows, even this at 168, that hasn't broken the broader trend. So not even that big of a deal. Anything in here, even if Apple did get to 180, it's still technically a buy. And that's fine. And then you're on your merry way. So no, I don't see any reason. The only way that this from a longer term perspective really breaks down is if I see something like this. And from a longer term perspective, this is going to take a while play out. And what that would really have to look like is a larger breakdown from here and then a larger consolidation. So there's plenty of time for me. And then it would be a breakdown well below 180. So I'm going to have plenty of time well below 180 and then 165. I got plenty of time to make a decision on Apple, whether or not I want to really decide longer term. That's what it would have to look like. There's no reason to make a decision on Apple when you're talking years from that perspective. In the meantime, this is a very like clean spot to take a stab at it, whether it's just from this trend or having already had this breakdown and having already had like, so couple spots, couple things. Apple here could be at that very specific, like look below. Cactus
Okay.
Jack. Let me know. If I rant, just interrupt me.
Yeah.
Every time it's gotten here, here's this trade war zone. From a trade location perspective, this is like the only Mag 7 that's still in the trade war zone.
That's
So-
also why I picked it, bro. I was like, at some
Oh yeah,
point-
that's why it's the only one. It's so I think that as we go through this, you look at across the board. I think that I look to deploy in areas that would be more de-risked at this point. The problem here with Apple is that is from a trend perspective, it is not in an uptrend, right? But I don't need a whole lot to change here. And all I need is this 198 area. Look at that level. We just drew it from a monthly perspective. It's this 198 area, which today, yeah, it's below it. But intraday, it was very, honestly, it was about to crack it. This is just one day. I don't think that this is over. 198. And then quite frankly, it's very quickly, it could be right back over in a couple days. So well, people want to be super bearish Apple. Shit, this could be 190. And then if you blink, it's Apple, baby.
Right,
If you blink, you write it off, it's back at 207. And if you see Apple over 208, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be at 220, like right quick, right? And then if you're over 220, yeah, it's going to 250. And in the course of a couple weeks, you've gone from 195 to boom, 250, and you're up 25%. So no, I'm not writing it off. Like, are you going to get 25% in that could be very fast. It's not the first time that has happened. Right now, we have a very clean double bottom on this Apple chart right here. We had an inefficiency on Apple from a gap perspective, and it just got filled right here. We're sitting on it right now at 195. So here now, yeah, this is literally exactly the spot where I take a shot on Apple. It's de-risked. It's not de-risked. It's the highest risk, but it's pretty cheap. Can it go lower? You betcha. Right? Is it risky? Because it's completely counter trend, meaning it's down on the day, it's down on the week. The month it's not down on the month. So like how come I can't see this? It's not really down on the month yet, right? So the monthly,
we'll do Boeing, guys, in a bit as well.
don't do Boeing. It's a waste of time right now.
Yeah, we'll do Adobe too.
Oh, you're killing me. I don't want to do Adobe either. Time also.
We'll do Target too, guys.
No, we won't, dude.
Dude, it's not me, it's the chat. This
I
is
know.
for them.
Come on, dude. I'm here to make money. I'm just telling you, I don't want to do those.
Oh,
I love you, bro, and I love the chat. But what do we want to do?
up to
Do you
you.
want to make money or do you want to waste Jason's time?
Look, it's your show. This is you.
Okay. So here's the 198 level. It's a critical pivot, right? This 200, this is last week's level. And now I don't want to do UNH either. I'm just going to veto that right now. And I'm going to veto anything under $20, under a $5 billion market cap right now, because it's just too small to I love you guys though. I do.
That I agree with. We got to stop with this penny stock stuff, dude. Like we got to stop.
So this I just went on a rant. I meant to not see that. And
No. But it's fair. Some of these stocks, like you can't chart these $75 million companies. Like
no. So these orange lines, that's the month. That's last month's range. So just understand that the entire month, last month, Apple's gone from 170 to 220 or 225 to 170, and right now, honestly, we're basically right in the middle of that range, right here. So at that 50% mark. So it is possible that we see 190 here ish and then pop up. But again, I'm happy to take this shot. We're coming into Apple's like most bullish time of year. And no, I don't suggest trading against the calendar. We're past the big disappointment, sell the news moment of WWDC. We're coming into July 23rd. So the first 2 weeks of July are, with a grain of salt, Apple's strongest 2 weeks of the year, every year, actually. This year we had trade wars, so maybe seasonality is a little bit off. The whole year seasonality has been a little bit off. So it's possible that this goes down, but even still, this 2 week move, it's very possible that look, it's 200. You're over 200. You're definitively going over 206. If you're over 206, you're definitively going to 207 or to 220. So these are the ranges, right? So here, this is happening. Full stop. If you're over here, that is happening. Full stop. Quite frankly, if you're over like 200s and really this 198, so basically for me, how this lays up is that my risk to the downside is 189. So anything in this box is my dip buy. And that's why this is a dip buy zone. So I do like it. Anything in this box is my dip buy for these moves here, here, potentially in here, which is just, it's simply 220 near term. But let's just look at this for a second. That's 7%. That's 15%. 17%. I don't know that you're going to get that on a lot of stocks if that happens. And my risk downside, okay, from here to here.
Well, that's why I picked it. The risk reward
4, 5%, 3%.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I agree. Okay, can we do this one real quick? Estee Lauder, EL.
That we can do. I like this. Actually, I like this for a couple different reasons. No offense, chat. I do love you guys. Long time, not short time. But here's similar thing. So Estee, you're gonna have to say it for me because I might
Estee Lauder.
Estee Lauder is not quite. It's got a ways to go. It's working on it. It did. Did you know it crossed the red line?
I did not. Did not know that.
The 200-day.
I did not see that. No.
Can I make a confession?
Did you buy this?
I bought the stock.
When? Yesterday?
What day?
You're with
Somebody
Burry?
in the chat know when I bought this?
You're with Burry in this trade, bro?
Does anybody in the chat know when I bought this?
You really went bearish with Burry?
Oh, Wild Carl. Wild Carl literally got me to buy shares.
How did he convince you to buy shares?
Dude.
Wild Carl.
He was in class. We were in class the other day, and we've been watching this stock for a long time. It is completely hosed, and similar to Apple, it was like it was de-risked. But he said, and I've known that it was coming up off the lows, but maybe not completely off the lows. He said one thing. This is dark. I don't mean to be dark, but he said that the owner passed away.
The owner's son passed away. Yeah.
The
founder's son passed away. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my mind, bingo, management change, right? So there could be. So I was like, all right, well, it's not the same. It's potentially not the same company anymore. And I think maybe before that we were already looking at it anyways. But very similar. This is a monthly this is right here. Like if I just, the way that we just in the same frame of mind that we just looked at Apple, we were looking at it from a monthly candlestick chart, from monthly candle. From that same perspective, here's a monthly chart, right? This monthly chart here, we're going down, down. This monthly candle here, we're going not down. Think Tesla, think grabby grab for just a minute on the shorter time frames, but now transition to longer time frames. All of a sudden, we stopped going down. We stopped going down here, but now we larger. We're like, what? We're going up. And I'm like, what? Where would we go up to? We would actually go up to here on this last transition. Just there, first of all, that's not like, it's a blip on the chart. It's just a little blip on the chart. But I'm like, okay, that's 86. So the blip on the chart, 86, that's a lot of percentages. The blip on the chart at 86, that's like, oh, 20%. And I'm like, oh, okay. There's some juju here up to there.
So you bought this yesterday or a day? Well, yeah, when you got the news yesterday. Okay, so that makes sense.
What day is today?
Thursday or Tuesday. Yeah, it had to be yesterday.
It had to be yesterday. So yesterday. So I literally just bought little just put on the radar. Monitor. Because even here, I'm like, well, this is, so I had already seen, like, that was the setup. We were looking at it. Here's the prior week candle. So just from this structural perspective, yes, it's at the 200. It's almost like AMD. If it gets shellacked, like if I get a shellacking here, it's all good, right? It's not like, what's my risk here? My risk is 63, like below here. I no play anymore, 64.
Yeah.
I stop it, right? I'm out of here. But even order at like 73 and change, actually, I don't care. I'll play. And if for whatever reason I think, earnings are coming, I believe. So I'm like, all right, this is not necessarily going to be a short trade, because in August, if there is a new leadership, I don't know, but let's say there's activists or whatever, they could get a kitchen sink quarter. They could dump it out. I'm really not following this that much, but what I could say is, like, quickly from this chart perspective, well, this is a lot of percentages. It's mostly de-risked. That's like 15 percentages. And then realistically, I think you do get a shot possibly at this $100 level for that quarterly box into here, which is 99. And that would be really like the better target, which from here to there, that's 30 something percent.
Can we do ELF to follow this up? Are you seeing the same?
Yeah.
setup there?
Well, no. So like the setup was here, but the one thing that pushed me over the edge was, okay, actually, it's not Bury. I don't care. The one thing that actually pushed me over the edge was a potential management turnover.
Right.
Or like ownership turnover, where maybe there could be some activists getting leverage, real leverage, maybe. So unless I have that, and I didn't know that, it's not because I like lipstick. Wasn't that? Although lipstick stocks are not in the conflict cabinet for me.
That's true. ELF has already had its run from 51, so that,
Yeah,
I don't know why.
ELF has already done the deal. So like I would be looking for Estee, what is it?
Estee Lauder.
To do what ELF has already done. And once it does, I would probably be taking some down.
Yeah, I don't get
what now that ELF has done this, I would probably be taking some down.
I don't get what's the hype about ELF right now at all.
I don't know. It's a better company, probably.
It's a better company, but it's made a 100%, 115% move. Like, This one
I
doesn't
mean,
seem
so
very
is Celsius, and I think I saw it on your sheet.
true.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
But it's just, all right, so is Celsius the best buy right now? You know, like, I don't know.
I don't know. Celsius has a very similar chart to ELF now that I'm looking at it. Actually, nice little double top at the highs. Very similar.
Okay, cool. Can we do
But yeah, so ELF is a 50% retracement. You got to chill. Unless you're over 133, then you're going to 150. But that's your next easy money capture. But you're not there yet.
okay, can we do
Everything
Nike?
until then is anticipatory.
Can we do Nike?
I think so. Textiles in general, this kind of stuff, I think I'm not selling this, but I was in for a little bit of a trade, options trades, and I closed it just because I almost feel like with what is going on, that area could be impacted. So like as things go down, as things evolve, you know, initial knee-jerk reactions will be like, okay, sell everything, you know, in the market if something happens. And then it'll be like, well, maybe not everything gets affected. I think Nike textile stuff is something that could be affected. And then maybe it's like, oh, well, global GDP eventually could be affected. But for right now, I think this is more at risk than not, but they have earnings coming June.
Do you know, have any idea why they were down today? 3%? You think there's any?
No, I just told you. I think it's because like trade textiles, like fabrics and stuff. I don't know. That was my thesis. The retail sales coming in.
Yeah, it was negative.
Not the greatest. All of that and then some.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, cool. Can we look at, all right, some quick ones before we do Bitcoin. Can we look at Lulu? Do you see anything there? It is down a lot.
What is Savage saying?
I mean, we could look at Chipotle. We haven't looked at that in a while, too. No, let's look at Chipotle. What do you got there?
Oh, God.
Bill Ackman's been offloading this one, though, as well. So I feel like the big guys have started to get out. Is that still a 51? Yeah, dude.
It's a super slow mover. I don't know. I had Chipotle salad the other day. It wasn't horrible, but like
what do you mean salad? You mean a bowl?
Yeah.
You don't have salads. Yeah.
It says salad or bowl.
Wait, really? I thought no, it's not. It's a bowl. They don't sell salads. It's a bowl or a burrito or a quesadilla. Okay,
well, salad is a bowl. It doesn't have rice.
Okay, that's fair.
They put lettuce in it.
That's fair.
It's chillaxing.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. You're not. I would imagine you're not excited for Chipotle.
Chipotle. I mean, they lost the sauce. I mean, I did try that new honey chicken thing. Did you try it yet?
I've not tried that. No.
Sofritas. I didn't try the sofritas. It was weird. But it's tight. What did he say? Can you highlight that comment? SOW10 Wyckoff model distribution phase.
I have no idea what SOW10 means.
I do. He's thinking short.
He's thinking short it?
Yeah, so like it's this is that monthly candle here. And similar to like the other stuff we were talking about, look above and fail, lower high entry. If you get this, he's literally talking about this.
What was that laugh, bro? That was like an evil short laugh.
Because what I'm looking at is possible. It is actually possible, but you have some stops along the way. So right now we got to go day by day. So day by day, He's not the greatest close. I think your trend traders are going to hold it. You're not bullish. I think we all agree on that. You cannot get over this 52. I think generally you want to lose this this order block. See right here. It's just very defensive, and so you might have some areas. Unfortunately, this has got earnings late July. So $50 is going to be a nice psychological round number. It's probably going to be exactly, yeah, $50.50. So $50.50 definitively, you're going to have this as easy money. $50.50, that's a small move. It's not a fast moving stock. I think if this makes a move, it's either going to be because someone got food poisoning or something on earnings.
Yeah.
It's just one of those that's like, it doesn't make a big move. And you probably have to buy a lot of time. Much as I love Savage, he is a savage.
Yeah.
This okay. Has to be a multi-week swing. So Lulu was the other one.
Well, so let's do 5 1-minute stocks, and then we'll do Bitcoin, because let's just get 5 out of the way. So yeah, Lulu is number 1. So we'll do that.
Lulu. I just don't like this. So the story has not changed. If we reviewed a chart last week, and I know it hasn't, my view hasn't changed at all from last week to this week, can I just say has not changed?
Yes, that's perfect.
Has not changed.
Okay, perfect. CEG.
This is I don't know if this is natty gas or what.
They did have a big deal with Meta last week, but didn't really pump on the 20-year. It's not just natty gas; it's a lot of other stuff, I think.
Yeah. Well. Okay. These are a little bit harder to trade right now. This is very spiky towards the highs. I don't have a good handle on this. I think this is going to fall in that weird space where it's like it's a slow mover. Not a lot of volatility here. This is investment class, not trading class. For sure. It's not, I don't think you trade this. I can't do, like, this is not tradable. This is only investment level.
Okay. OKLO.
Oops. I'm over here.
This one's been a monster.
You got to let this breathe. This is so dude, just under 60, you have to wait. You're gonna see probably 600, just under 60, probably somewhere between 57 and 59 and change. You're very likely gonna retest this, but if you breach 56s, the nukes have been really hot. So I don't touch these because like it could be a short for now, and then something happens and they're long right in your face. You have to wait. You have to wait till they're going sideways. Like you have to wait. They have these big moves like this. They have these big pullbacks and they go sideways. And then you get this boom. And then they go down. And they get this. And then it'll go boom. So you have a really long time to wait to touch this.
Okay, 2 more before Bitcoin. NBIS, NBIS.
Pretty sure this is going to land right in that under 20, under 5 billion. Oh, it doesn't. I was thinking the other one. That would be NVTS.
Oh, yeah. Navitas. That's a different one. Yeah.
Has not changed since last time, though.
What do you say? You haven't changed your mind since last time?
Right.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, so let's replace this one then with Pfizer instead. 15-year lows.
Did they has not changed since last time?
Did we look at Pfizer?
Since last time we covered the stock on your show.
Probably like 10 months ago. Yeah. But this is attractive to people because it's 15-year low with a 7% divvy. So people are thinking the risk reward is really good. But my question on a fundamental basis, what drugs do they have in the pipeline? That's what I ask if you're buying Pfizer.
All of a sudden, he's a biotech expert.
No, I'm not. I'm not an expert. That's what I'm saying. Like,
joking.
what drugs do they have for people to be buying this thing?
I don't know. It's a tough one, dude. Honestly, I've liked Pfizer in the past, and then it just burnt my money away. So I've liked Pfizer in the past, and it's made me some money, and then I tried to like it again, and then it took my money away, and then I tried to like it again, and it took my money a second time, and I was like, nope. And you're right, it is, but there's just no mistaking this. This really is that. Just no. It's just no. It's just a hard pass. No. You want to try to catch a falling knife? Have at it. I don't even want to. It's probably the worst looking stock in the market from a technical perspective. It's very possibly. You have if this is over $30, we can talk.
Okay. Last one before Bitcoin, APLD.
No, not gonna happen.
There's like 50 comments.
Dude, you're killing me.
I'm not killing anybody.
I'm telling you, it's wasting my time because the second, dude, you want to know why? The second somebody buys this, my charts are off. It's such a small market cap.
I don't disagree.
$2.5 billion, $10.99.
I do not disagree.
My charting doesn't work on this.
I just want everyone to know this is Jason's decision.
Jason says TA doesn't work here. It's just about a squeeze. You get a headline, kablamo.
So here's my thing.
TA cannot anticipate.
For everyone asking about APLD, what is your average? Put it in the chat. Because I have a weird feeling a lot of people are chasing this thing. And I think that also needs to be talked about. I mean, some of these names, we cannot just keep chasing them and assuming they're going to keep going up and up and up. Because if you have a $2 average or a $1 average, $3 average like it was a month ago, there's no way in hell you should care about TA on this. Either you should take your profits because you're up 4 or 5x, or you should just chill out because you have such a high margin of safety. But if your average is $9, $10, and the stock is $10.99 right now, I mean, I get why you're scared, but then you have to ask yourself the question.
Look, you guys too, like I want to come here and I want to do this stuff for you, but I will tell you, as much as I love Amit and as much as I love you guys, I'm going to get frustrated if I have to do this too long. So like my time, I love you, but it's not, I would be doing you a disservice. I feel like this, I would be doing you a disservice for sure if I told you I could really chart this and I start like swagging this stuff, because that's what it would be. It would be a guess.
It would be a guess. And I also think people are chasing a lot of stuff and they want to see TA on stuff they're chasing, but that doesn't mean that the chasing is justified. Some of the chasing is right. If you've chased OKLO all year, it's worked, but it might not work on Applied Digital. And so I think that that's definitely a fair point to be able to make. All right, so no APLD. So we'll do one more before Bitcoin. Tempest.
Love you though, guys.
Tempest, TEM.
TEM. All
We
right.
should have all chased Nancy on this one.
So down on the day, closed mid-range. I think this market is really like I really think that even if you like Applied Digital, you just like sit there and you wait and you wait and you wait. You don't want to anticipate here, but too much. Like it's okay to dip your toe in the water, but is that a meeting? No, I'm not taking a meeting right now. Who the hell is it?
Dude, you don't have a job. What do you mean meeting?
No, I have I have Wolf Financial, and then we have like all these other team meetings. It looks a little tired, but it's like this is day one pullback. So day one pullback, I don't necessarily want to short, and I don't necessarily want to long, especially on a move like this. Is there any news? So like
No.
this one's more interesting. I could chart this and there's something that's movable.
I mean, there was a short report, but it kind of recovered since then.
Okay.
But outside of that, nothing crazy.
So, all right. Well, so it's why are these lines here?
Also, we have to do your pick of the week as well.
Oh, dude. I mean, like we're doing all this like. So 65 is going to be your next stop for sure. I think it was 63s in change. I say for sure, like that's about 65. If the short report holds, the trajectory here, pathing would be about 65. But beyond that, that's just the next stop. It could go a little bit lower to the 56s. I believe it was 60. Just under 64, where it got that like explosion level. Oh yeah, it was like 65s. Because every time it got there, I forgot what was the catalyst here. There was a big boom down here. 60, just whatever this. What was this? What was this? There was a headline.
That was the short report. I told you. I think it was Carsdale Capital that came out with it. By the way, Trump's not live yet, guys. I think it's going to be a prime time thing. I don't think it's going to happen soon.
So 63.95. That's what it was. So 63.95. It always got like this little bounce from way back and a fail, like a big pivot. This is tradable. It's rough. So I think you see that again. But if you lose this and you lose that, I think this is a short. And if you're long, it's a hedge. Near term. You probably don't need a lot of time. This is if it does go down, you'll know it below 68 and you'll know it below 67.5. Below 67.5, this is happening. And you don't want to hedge if you're long. Okay.
There you go. Before Bitcoin, real quick. So someone just asked, and I think you could expand on this really well. Just to give your, the audience a better explanation, why you don't like doing these small cap names as much, like from a technical perspective. Yeah, here it is.
They're very new. If you've ever traded penny stocks in your life, you know that penny stocks are very catalyst driven, right? So like everybody can pile, if your market cap's not big enough, people can pile in from one stock to the next and they can move something really like a massive amount. And that has nothing to do with TA. We laugh and we joke about liquidation day and things like that. And it's like, look, that is just a major market cap level example of like, yes, technicals can do some of this stuff, but, or they can tell you when certain things are going to happen. But like, look, there's a massive amount of manipulation at a small market cap level, specifically, things that are untradeable, below $5 billion, below $5 billion, there's a lot of manipulation that goes on. Below $20, it's like, what's the point of trading it for me? And for a lot of people, because there's a lot of what we call slippage, right? And especially if it's illiquid, it could get really wild.
And that means those companies could be good companies. It's just charting them, which is what you're here for.
They could be good companies. They might be good for investing, but not for trading. And remember, what we're talking about here today is trading. So we would really be talking about week to week, month to month at most, but not investment level. So like, again, even Oscar, I like Oscar. I actually really like Oscar, but I think you would be doing Oscar even a disservice to look at a chart because you shouldn't, it's something that's more.
So that's my point. For everyone saying, well, APLD is a great company. Sure, it can be. That doesn't mean it has nothing to do with TA. So you shouldn't take it as a personal offense if Jason doesn't want to do APLD because you like the name,
I mean, but also know that I have charts on APLD that go back to 2020, like from way over here. So like but yeah, it's just I've over the years, things get too squeezy. You get too much of a low float. You get a lot of short interest. Those are things that like I can't tell you. I can maybe, but like they might go sideways for a really long time, and then boom, something happens, and I'm mad.
We gotta do Dutch Bros later as well for Matt. Okay, Bitcoin. What are you thinking on this thing?
Well, so 109 is that prior all-time high. Are
we going to 150?
Well, I think you have to chill for a little bit.
We've been chilling for so long. What do you mean? We've been stuck at like 100 to 105 for like 3 months.
Yeah.
150. Especially because Robin is going to 150.
150. Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
probably not 150, but still, it's like.
Yeah, but Robinhood's. I mean, that's just one lever for Robinhood,
which is the fun part. That's why I like it over Coinbase. Like,
I mean, dude, what if 330? Well, I mean, Robinhood's gonna take over DraftKings, FanDuel, all that stuff first before we get to 150 to put them out of business. It's not bad. It's still like you're not getting. I mean, look, what has to happen for something to go higher? What has to happen? It's not going to go higher just because like new money has to come in. 50% more new money. So, and I look at this, what's the market cap on Bitcoin? The trillion, multi-trillion.
It's like 2.3, I think. Wait,
yeah. So
it is,
it's not going to tell me. I actually don't know.
2.1 trillion.
So we're talking about, okay, so let's be real here for a second. Let's be real. So we're talking about an extra $1 trillion going into Bitcoin. Where would an extra $1 trillion come from?
That's a good question.
So I think you really need to think about that. I guess I need to think about, I guess we should all think about that for a second. Where would another $1 trillion come from?
The Saudis, the Chinese.
Because this ain't just going to be like, oh, we're going to go 50% just because.
Sailor, he can help out a little bit, you know?
Does he have $1 trillion in his pockets?
I mean, he can get $1 trillion for a 0% coupon. He'll find a way, you know?
All right.
Maybe Grab's going to buy some Bitcoin, maybe, you know?
So you'd have to see all of that happen. Somebody really needs to buy this guy a new battery.
Dude.
Like
my camera, dude, I was 7 minutes late on the market open yesterday because the camera was being stupid. It's like,
you don't have an actual battery in your camera, do you?
No, I do, but it's still plugged into.
You do?
Yeah, but it's charging the whole time, so I don't know why it's like.
It's not a dummy battery.
No, it's a real battery. No, what do you mean dummy battery?
Send me your address.
No, dude. So before I went to DC, this camera would stay live for like 7 hours, no issue. And then after I left and repacked all my gear, and then when I put it, like something happened, and now it's being stupid.
No, mine is like it looks like a battery. It's shaped like a battery. You plug it into the battery spot, but it's got a cable that comes out and it goes into the wall.
Oh, I don't have that. No, I don't.
You need that. That will never happen. Ever.
Yeah. So when I move into the apartment, I'm gonna try to resolve all these technical things.
Listen, just send me your address. I'll send you one. It's like $20, bro.
No, it's not even about the money. I need to get a real setup, and that's over the summer. Hopefully.
Just send me your address. Enough with it.
It sounded a little stalkerish there. Just send me your address.
Send it now. So I guess, yeah. So it's like, that's the hard question. 2 trillion up here.
Dude, so you got people giving me super chats because
it's $20 accessory, dude. It's just a matter of knowing what to buy.
Serious, thanks for the $10. Appreciate it.
Halfway there.
Halfway there. Okay, so you think Bitcoin is not going to do anything?
I think it's possible, but like I think we need to be a little bit more realistic of what it realistically takes. Like it's a lot. It's a
Whoa. Robinhood director buys $2 million worth of shares. At 74, he bought 26,500 shares. Bro.
Who done it?
It's not Vlad. He already owns like 50 million. It's who's this guy's name? Freaking what's this dude's name? Payne Christopher Payne. He bought it last week. What does this guy do? Christopher Payne, Robinhood. He is a board member. This guy.
A board member?
No, he's been on the board since 2024, December 2024. I guess relatively new. It's been 8 months. Okay, so technically the bearish argument, it's not really bearish, but the nothing burger argument is this guy's been on the board for 8 months. He doesn't have a ton of shares. So, maybe he wasn't granted as many shares when he joined and now he wants to increase his position. But I don't see how this is bearish in any way. I also don't, based on this SEC filing, it doesn't look like he's it's like some like restricted stock option where he's actually buying it at $20 and he's getting it at 74. No, it looks like, if I'm not reading it wrong, he purchased at $74.18, 26,500 shares.
How much?
About 2 million. 26.5 times 74.18 is $1.9 million. All right, not bad. He wanted to break the wall. Not bad, dude. That's the first time I've seen a Robinhood insider buy in a while. It's been a minute.
Okay. So I've sent you the link to the $33.99 accessory.
You said it was 20. Why are you increasing the prices now?
I'm not. You already got $10 from the chat.
Bro, $33.
You have 7 days to
half
purchase
of a hoodie.
You have 7 days to purchase this accessory. Otherwise, I will find your address.
That's half of a hoodie, bro. What is this? No, I'll get it. All right, cool. Anyway, so Bitcoin, yeah, you think you just need a lot of momentum for it to move higher?
Yeah, I think you need we need a reason for the FOMO. We need a reason for the FOMO. Because otherwise people are like, oh, it's 100K. It's 100K.
Yeah.
It's so expensive.
Okay, on the crypto theme, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but Circle, what do you think is going on with this one?
I mean, so like I was short for a little bit, it's cheapy, but like the issue was like the whole time was like, wow, when we said 108 or whatever, 108, I'm going to get face ripped because it's going to go higher, and 108, boom, there it went. And you would know. And you're at 155. So at least you knew when it was going to happen. And it's like, it's the same thesis as CoreWeave. They can't really sell it. So, and that's why I was like, I don't, the short would be cool, but like, if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. And they can't, there's just not a lot of shares out there. This is where 108 came from. And this was that day one trade. So it was in this box. Honestly, it's literally this like one day, 108.50, boom, you're out. 108.50, kaboom, 30%. There it is. But did we chart this here or was that somewhere else? I don't think I charted that here. But it needed to have like full closes and opening below 103s to validate. Otherwise, it wasn't going to. So at this point, you're kind of stuck in this last range here. It can go higher, dude. It really can. And it's the same situation as a CoreWeave and all that. I justified or unjustified, it doesn't matter. Because it's what it is. I think right now, so this is this is that last range here. That 50% mark, there it is, 160. If it holds this, like if you're breaking over 165, it's to 175.
Do you think this is an easy short just because like as a
Not an
hedge?
easy short. It's not an easy short.
You don't think the
Is
valuation or
the
anything
shares
is great?
not are the shares even available to short? I think that's what does it right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. How much time do you have? 20 minutes?
Well, Stanley Cup is tonight, dude.
Okay, so you're gonna be gambling, so that's fair.
What do you mean gambling?
You're gonna be, engaging in the betting markets. So I feel you.
I am contributing to our to Robinhood's profit margin. Thank you very much.
Yo, there you go. 40,000 on Twitter. I didn't see that. I think you got that
Nice.
relatively soon, recently. So shout out to Jason. There's his Twitter.
So Jason, can you click that link? Has that been updated? I think that I asked the team to put if it's not I'll see. Is it join community?
That would open.
No, I didn't. Never mind. So like I'm gonna have them update this, so we'll open up a free section for the server. But if you go to my YouTube, there's a link that is to the free part of the server, and we'll open up some free sauce so you guys can hang out.
I will link Jason's YouTube right here. Okay, so we got 20 minutes. We'll get these final picks in, and then we'll be done for the day. We appreciate you.
I think it's Florida for the Cup. I think it's Florida in 6.
Wait, this is the final round of the Stanley Cup, right?
You mean, do they close it out tonight? I mean, dude, that's a bold call, sir.
Wait, it's Florida versus who?
Edmonton.
That's from Canada?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Canada, whatever you want to call it.
And it's 3-2. Florida's up right now? You don't even know, bro. What are you gambling on this stuff? You don't even know this shit.
I'm pulling up my thing.
See, you should know this stuff. You don't. Yeah, it's 3-2. Florida Panthers. So you're betting on Florida tonight?
I already have. I mean,
how much did you bet? 5,000? 10,000?
Go back to my profile.
Does it
I told you I'm gonna make $1 million on this from Hoodie. Scroll down. This should be my last Edmonton bet. Keep going.
This?
What's that? Open that up. Edmonton. So that was one of the last bets. 10,000 contracts at $8. So that is $10,000 profit on $1,000 bet. Thank you, Vlad.
I think you've hit like almost 95% of these trades in the playoffs.
No, not 95%, but I've gotten a lot of them.
You made some good money.
Spencer, I'm gonna copy. I don't send that for free, dude. Come on. You know how much work that takes to get that. But I actually had more than that. But I'm working on a $1 million challenge, Robinhood account from $100. Start March Madness. Just telling you right now, we're cracking. We're getting real close to $100. Real close to $100.
All right. Okay, so we got 15 minutes. We're gonna try to get guys. Now you.
I think it's Florida. I think it's Florida in 6, which would be tonight. I think they take it down. Just my gut.
So you can put some tickers in the chat. We'll try to do these last tickers for 15 minutes. We'll try to go quick on them. I will be live again. I forgot that I'm doing this at 8 p.m. with ARK, not Kathy, but some of her people, and we're gonna be talking about SpaceX and their new valuation on SpaceX. So I'll be live again in about an hour after this. Okay, cool. Last couple picks. Reddit.
Reddit. I think you got the move on Reddit. So I hope. So Sam's on the board for 200 on Reddit. I think you got I think you got it already. I love Sam to death, but I think you got the big move. It's done this a handful of times. And I'm looking at this as like, well, it's just one more time. I wasn't on this one this time. What was this looks newsy.
They released a new AI advertising tool today.
God, this is such a squeezy stock, dude. I'll tell you what. This is crazy. Were you in this?
I was in it a long time ago, but I'm not in it.
Well, I know. Sam's in it right now. You know that?
I don't like how high beta it is, dude. I'd rather be in something else.
I was asking about Sam. Did you know about Sam? Do you know Sam's in it right now?
Well, I see him. He's in the chat, and yeah.
Sam's in it in the chat. I don't see Sam.
He says I see 200.
There you go. So Sam's in this bad boy. Sam loves this. So I see it. I think here's the deal. What do you always tell me? Amit always tells me there's no such thing as a triple top. Amit always says there's no such thing as a triple top.
Okay, I get it. I am not the person who made up that rule. Okay.
2, 3. If Amit is right, Sam can get a little bit of a pullback. I think he doesn't need to add anymore because I believe Sam's cost is somewhere in this area. So he's fine. And he doesn't want short-term gains, so it's all good. But if you get a pullback that's something around 121s that holds, and you anywhere in this box, and you start an actual attempt that at this point is into 143, it's always the fourth attempt. It's not the third. So the fourth attempt might blow the doors off, which is into the 160s I have right now. Samwise saying 200s. Let's take a look. See. Oh. Oh, I mean, he's going.
I mean, that was February when it spiked up to those levels.
I mean, I don't know why.
It's one of the only stocks that hasn't got back to those February levels, by the way. So it was
yeah. No, I don't know why it would be 200.
Well, Sam says he's not saying tomorrow. He's saying
no. I get it, but I don't know why you would. If you're close to 200, no. It's going to be 3, is what I'm saying. Because like if you're up there,
dude, if Reddit's 300, like Tesla's 400, like I don't see that.
No, I agree. But if Reddit's, but my point is like here, check it out. So if I put a line here, and let's just say 200. So if Reddit's at 200, hear me out. Why would it not be at all-time highs?
No, I agree with you. I agree. It would.
So I mean, it's a psychological level for sure. But I think that if it would probably get stuck in this box between 160 and 180 right here, which comes from here. So it's going to retest this if this holds, and if it can break through that 143. So the next breach and level is going to be good God. Is going to be through here, 143 to 160. So that's $20 move. But to your point, I mean, it's quick and dirty. Sometimes more dirty than quick. But and that could be like 168. And if it gets there, we call this a fair value gap. There's a little bit of an inefficiency in the markets, possibly another one up here, 187. So I mean, I think Sam's honestly, I think I have a idea Sam here. So like maybe he gets this and Sam would be happy. He would be very happy. Low volume. That's exactly right. So what I'm highlighting here, these little dashed lines, that's what we call these low volume pockets. And so low volume pockets like this, price can get sucked up real fast. And so it's the beach ball effect, right? So the beach ball effect is like the price has been held underwater and then kaboom, and then it bounces and then boom, and then bounces, and then boom, and then bounces. And then the next boom would be into like the 160s and then bounces and then boom. And so that's what that trajectory would kind of look like. But it's very volatile, to your point. Very, very volatile. But it's generally.
All right, so we got to move on. I'm going to try to keep you to 2 minutes to the rest of the names just because we want to get.
Okay. I mean, this is a larger setup, but yeah, it's this whole shelf. So I'd say into that 168 area, it would probably get stuck.
Amazon, 2 minutes.
It's low volume pocket here. I think this is going to be market dependent. This should have gotten. Today's price action is interesting because that shouldn't have happened at all today. This probably should have just rejected, quite frankly. So the fact that it came back up here if it keeps testing this area, it will break and it will be 230s. But again, this is headline dependent. Trinium or whatever is cool. We'll see if the interest is there. Also prime week now, so there's some good headlines. It could do a little back and fill, but I think this is, all of these setups are not for tomorrow. All of these setups I think are for if this happens and we get our little blow off top, best case I think we're early July. So you got a couple weeks to sit on your hands and wait.
Okay. Google.
Same, but interesting spot. I like this a lot. So like I sent Amit this picture today. Is like, this is the spot where last time, albeit this was Willow last time, at this level with this setup, it moved $30 nearly in the 5-day span. The hold is good. It's this overnight price action that's a little choppy, mostly headline driven. All of this could be like that look below and fail in the morning that triggers. But the whole market, what you need to do is you just need to sit here. You can put some little feelers out there, right? Near term stuff, which I do have. Because if it goes, what's going to happen is like it's going to go fast and furious. It's going to be AMD early morning, but you can't press that very hard here, because if you're wrong, you're going to be wrong you're going to be really wrong. So I cannot give a pick of the week right now because it's all TBD. It's all headline driven. You'll know it in the morning, but we're not in the morning right now. I'm just saying, you gotta be ready with some moolah to deploy, and we'll know it if it's happening. But right now it's all setting up. So this is a definite watch. I think this is one that is probably one of the first ones to go. Since last time we talked about it, my sentiment has not changed. You did get that nice little pullback. I said 172 could even pull back, holds, held that 200-day. I think it's fine. It's just still setting up.
Okay, next one real quick, guys. Little update. America's going to be closing its embassy in Israel tomorrow till Friday, per the State Department that just came out right now. Marvell, MRVL, they're having their...
What was there a news today? Because I'm long this stock, but I'm like, whoa, what happened?
I think it's their investor day, right?
I don't know. Was it? So intraday had a really big candle. This is another one that's just coming out of the trade war zone. So trade location still actually not bad at all. Was coming out. And so we're a little bit further. This is, I think, honestly, this is one that should take a little bit more time. So I'm longer dated here. This is old 5G stock, quite frankly. It should be a longer turnaround story if you understand this a little bit more. But I think that it could make a trajectory up to 100. I just don't know that it would be tomorrow on this one. So I think you need a little extra time. Your low volume pockets to 87. So right here, right now, this is that area. So you have a clean break of structure, higher highs, equal lows down here. You have a higher low. Sorry, I've been charting this for a while. So I continue to see higher highs and I continue to see higher lows. There's nothing to do but stay the course here. You're just running into the 73, which is one of the prior major areas. So once this breaks through, there's going to be a very large move that's going to be very quick, very sharp, and very much right in here. So this is the stuff I'm talking about, where we have some explosive moments in the market that are teeing up that could happen very violently. And if you're not ready and waiting, or if you prematurely allocate, if you prematurely allocate, you're going to be in a world of hurt. But if you're not there, ready, you're going to be crying later too. So I think this is the moment where you get prepared, you get ready, you be willing to make a move, but you don't act until it's time. Sorry.
Okay. MP.
Squeezy stock, rough one. You probably just deploy on really red days. This is like USAR or whatever. This is this is headline driven, but I don't think you sell this. I think this is more geopolitical in nature than trading. I think you're good. I think you're actually at a solid target here. So you should be taking some profit.
NCLH, Norwegian. Oil price is not the best for these guys.
Wait. Well, so oil price should be coming up later. We're going to hit peak driving season here later on. Worth a look, but not super constructive here yet.
Okay. I'm gonna do.
I think you look at like Marvell. Seriously, look at like Marvell. Seriously, look at Google. Seriously, look at Amazon. Look at that like catch up growth trade.
I agree. Okay, 2 more, and then Jason, I'm gonna give you the last one and that'll be your pick of the week.
I can't give you a pick of the week. I should tell you, like, you gotta wait. I'll give you a pick of the week. It's like wait.
Oh, you don't have a pick of the week? Okay.
I do, but like I can't. I like Boeing was a pick of the week last week. You got to stay away from Boeing right now. That's bad luck. So,
but do you not have a pick of the week this week? Because that's fine if you don't. I'm just curious.
Nothing is for
Interesting.
sure.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so last 3 then. Dutch Bros.
Oh yeah, bros. Drink a lot of coffee.
I really, I went to the new apartment on Sunday and they had like a bunch of free coffee and I drank it and I remembered why I don't drink coffee. I like making it, but it's like you put the cream and the sugar. Yeah. I feel like an adult and then I drink. I'm like, why am I drinking this shit? So yeah, I don't drink coffee.
Dutch Bros has some pretty crazy coffee, dude.
I'm sure they do. I
gotta lay off the caffeine, but this was a big pivot. I think this is also a wait. It's interesting. I don't have a trigger. This is a lot of inside. If the whole market is here, it's just like this. It's like, dude, something's about to happen. But if you blindly buy something like in size, I think it's just a poor decision. You must wait. And then really, like, you could put some stuff out there. This looks not good, actually. I don't like this chart. This looks weaker than strong right now. This area. That does not look so good.
Okay. Last 2.
Yeah, you lost the 20 here. I would be more defensive. I would definitely be more defensive, maybe towards that $60 range.
Okay, TTD. Any thoughts on this one? Little recovery since the downfall.
Not a big recovery, even given a lot of it back here, it seems.
Tanner has this one in his ETF.
He bought it?
Yeah.
Or did he actually buy
it? In his ETF. I don't know if he. I think he actually bought some. Might have to check.
Yeah, I would chill. This one's got some time, but I think you'd nibble. I would really like to see it at 60, but like 63s. But even then, it's like this one. It's like big move. Big base. This is going to take some time. This is not ready anytime soon, unless there's some kind of catalyst headline, something like that. This is just like bleed central until it comes to like a tipping point, which may not be till here or here or here or here or here. See what I'm saying? Like you got to wait because it's not reacting at any one of these levels yet. Once you see a reaction at one of these levels, then okay, but it's not happening yet.
Okay. Before we actually do the last one, which I want you to take a pick, Duolingo. Any thoughts on that one?
I haven't looked at this.
It's up 50% for the year.
It's not.
I have this in my ETF, so I need it to do well. Yeah, you had it. Yeah.
No, I didn't. DUOAL. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Is it going to 500? Am I getting 500? We did Tesla already. We did Tesla. This is a hell of a chart, right? I mean, it's made a move. It's made a big move. The silence is loud.
Not
Dude,
gonna lie,
either this
bro.
crashes and burns or I go to 600 by the next year.
I kind of think you see 400 first.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Like there's a like you have this like, oh, what happened here? I mean, I'm sure it's a good company. I'm not sure. I think maybe it's a good company. Maybe it could be a good company. But isn't this like a language?
No, it's legit, bro. It's not the growth is
No,
legit.
I'm not saying it's legit. I'm not saying it's not legit.
Yeah, it's language. And look, I thought of them a couple years ago. I was like, oh, it's a stupid language app, dude. It like AI is only accelerated. They're growing 40% across every metric, every single metric, and they're not stopping. It's pretty incredible and remarkable to grow. They have a founder, CEO. I mean, like, it's expensive. That's the only issue here, to me.
I mean, good stocks are usually expensive, right?
Yeah, like I don't have a thesis issue on this at all. I don't think AI is commoditizing them or nothing like that.
Yeah. So like you're in for a year.
Yeah, I have.
I mean, if you see 400, I think I think to my point, if you see 400, I think that's probably a decent entry. It might just be 440. And then we could talk. But eventually the chart is 20 billion. So 10 billion is the sauce level, right? 10 to 20 is when you get most of the 10 to 20 is when you get the most of the growth from a company perspective, right?
Yeah.
And then at 20 billion, you really need to get some kind of like actual accelerant to get to 100, which is possible. So like what's Hood at right now?
65 billion.
Yeah, so it's a third of the size of Hood.
Yeah, granted, they don't have the net income that Hood has, but
Right.
That's fair.
I think that's the only thing. So like if it was 10 billion to 20 billion, oh, love it. I think 20, well, you know, right? So like 10 billion is like that sweet spot where you know, like massive rocket ship type growth. 220, maybe 25. And then there's this weird, what is it about that level? There's something about that level. Like once you get there, you need to have some extra juice. Something happens. Like you need some extra juice. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Guys, do you know if Duolingo hires language instructors to like do like video lessons or something on the app? Because if they do, I feel like they should hire me to teach people how to be funny. That would be a really, I think, productive use of their capital. Because that is a language. Humor is a language, you know? Like it's not easy to learn how to be funny. So anyway, all right, last pick. Jason, you have the last pick. What are we doing?
Oh, I don't know. I was just looking at Big Sour. I think you stay the course here. This hasn't gone anywhere lately. Boeing, stay away.
So we need that means I have to bank the last pick then. I have to give you the last one.
Hold on. Can you give me a second?
We should do RDC. That's a hell of a pick. That's a good
no. It's gotta be a mega cap, something tradable with options liquidity. I'm in Marvell. I'm in JP Morgan.
We did HIMS. We did NBIS.
I'm in AMD.
We did not do ASML, but nothing changed from last week on ASML.
It's too illiquid from an options perspective.
We did SOFI. Jason's not going to do Snapchat. We did Nike. We did NVIDIA. Oh, Jason, have you ever listened?
No, I got it.
Huh? Oh, okay, before we do that, have you ever listened to Metallica?
Who?
Metallica.
Yeah. They're great.
I have to listen to them tonight. What's your favorite song? I don't know. What song should I listen to?
Well, I mean, everybody has like Master Puppets. That's like
That's what I've heard. I've heard I need to listen to that one. So,
I mean, how do you not know that?
All right, so I'll listen to them tonight. I will. All right, Roku.
What era do you come from?
The early 2000s, I guess. Like that's when I was born. I mean, 97 I was born. So
What?
yeah, I was the last of the Gen Z. I don't even think of myself as Gen Z, but I was like the last year of the Gen Zs.
Is all right, dude. I'm a millennial that doesn't get invited to the millennial parties. Did you know that? Because I'm on the
You're on
cusp.
the later. Yeah, that's fair. All right, so
I was searching. Do you know how fast I scroll for these? It's like this.
dude, when you're doing TA, it's like Mozart playing the piano, bro. It's like
I'm literally just hitting.
I don't think people understand when you're making lines and indicators like that. Shit's not easy, bro. But you're so used to it. At this
Hard.
point.
Let me find you the best chart in the stock market that I can find. Right. Ooh, nobody asked Microsoft. That's dude. By the way, did you know that Microsoft is the strongest chart in the market?
You're not wrong. You're
Wrong
not
crowd.
wrong. Okay, so what are we doing? Are we doing Roku? What's your last pick?
Roku doesn't look that great.
We could do Netflix. We could do
This one
Oracle.
looks interesting.
Dude, we missed Oracle. Oracle.
I was trying to find one live. This looks
Roblox.
Dude, could you just give me a second? This one.
No,
looks
I'm just reading what the chat's saying.
okay.
Adobe.
Find some money for the chat, okay?
Oh, we do Enphase.
Dude, we're not doing. First of all, you guys want solar? Y'all need to wait till there's a Democrat in office. Just hello. Do you not understand this concept?
Oh my gosh. That's so true though. It's like so simple. This is like such a easy
It's so
thing.
simple.
It's like just like leave solar until we get a liberal. Very easy.
I think this is going to get interesting. Maybe it's not today, but I remember this level for sure. So maybe it's not today. It's going to be like this. I have to wait so they don't have a trigger, but nobody's asked about ARM on this channel. I don't think ever. This is a very squeezy, very tradable ticker, very liquid options, similar to Coinbase. But at 145, first of all, this is sideways for forever.
ARM, yeah, it's been sideways for a long time.
For like a year.
Well, SoftBank still has 90% of the float locked up, I think.
Uh-huh.
So
There's something going on with chips and stuff like that. One or two things can happen. I think the market as a whole is very similar. So this is the reaction spot that ARM has been. It's always had massive reactions. So I'm doing the process live right now. So I just happen to be scrolling through like Mozart does live, and I literally just came across this right now. So you gotta. This is how it happens. But I know this level very well, 145, right? And it's like a massive reaction level, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But I think my point is that the market as a whole is very much at a similar key pivot. Where like when you draw something just straight across, you can say, oh, okay. Well, it really could go either way. So to give you a pick that is, oh, buy calls here, that's dumb. Like, if I wanted to burn your money, I would tell you something like that. And I really don't. I don't want you to lose money. So I will do like a real trade that's really like if this, then that, whether you like it or not, I don't know. But just know. So here's the box. Anyway, so the box is like this gray area. Possible. First look above in like years or a long time. Since when? 118 days since we've been at this level. That's a long time. Tomorrow morning. Look how big of a range that was just today, dude.
yeah.
So it's insane. You want a big mover. Dude, it's 6% day today.
Was there a catalyst why ARM was up today?
Yeah, just telling you, this is how ARM 5% day yesterday. ARM moves. So if you're sleeping, I wouldn't sleep. Upside target is going to be maybe bigger than you think. This low volume pocket, 159. It's 145 right now. $12. Let's say realistic, 154. It's a lot of juice. Another 5%, call it. So, but what you need to see, it cannot be at 145. So it's got to be, you say, okay, I can't, it's not like, okay. So you need to see certain things. So it has to break 149. It has to do this. So if it's not that simple. So you can't just do it. Do this, and then you can break through 155. So it'd be like 155 calls, short dated, after you have a 149 breach and hold. Otherwise, open for a fail. This is an equally large range. This is going to fail 143s. Below 140, we're looking $5 in short order down this way. Okay, so those are your trades. So those are your zones. She's either up here or she's down there. Not in between. I don't want to play. But you got $5, boom, $5 here.
All right. There you go. Jason's Twitter right here in the chat. Everyone can follow him there. His YouTube's there as well. He'll be back next week. I think we got through at least 40 stocks today. So we got through a lot of stuff. And yeah, he does this for us every Tuesday. And we appreciate you, Jason, being here every time. Trump's not going live today, guys. From what I am looking at, it looks like it's going to be tomorrow.
Oh, man.
If he does go live, I'll stream it. But I don't think he's going live.
Did you see the close, right? The close, it's like the market was on. This is what I'm like looking at the. This is what I was looking at the market into the close. It's like the market's on edge, selling off into the close, really worried about something happening. And then you've been seeing what's happening. And then nothing happens. Then the morning, it's like, looks like a different market.
Yeah.
You go back up and then poof, and then there's a headline and we go back to the lows midday only to maybe breach them after hours. And then whoop, nothing happens. We're back into the highs in the morning, do it all again. So it's a whipsaw.
Tomorrow we have FOMC.
Tomorrow we have FOMC, and then we're closed for Juneteenth.
It doesn't even feel like it's a FOMC week with everything that's happening. It's like
and
no
then
one
we
cares.
and then we have, quad witching on Friday, which honestly I don't care about. I don't think it's a big thing. So all that said, I think a big setup is coming. I don't know which way, but I think if you play your cards right and you wait till you see the whites of their eyes before you take your shot, you might just maybe have a really good opportunity on your hands. Just maybe. If you play it right. You like this shirt, Tom?
Dude,
did I get a vote? Did we get another vote?
Everyone.
I don't know. This was the new dad swag. First, what do you call this? This was the new achievement. Dad gear. First dad gear.
Well, your son picked it out, so that's why it's also.
Son picked the duckies. The ducks. You like the ducks?
I love the ducks. I love it.
I forgot what it's called. Oh my God.
It's like a Hawaiian shirt. That's what people. I mean, that's what.
Texman doesn't like it.
What did he say?
He doesn't like the shirt. I love it.
All right, cool
it's
stuff.
The dad gear. All right, guys.
Jason, thank you again.
Okay.
Jason's Twitter right here. We will see you next Tuesday.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you.
Peace out. Adios.
All right, guys. I'll be back in 45 minutes. ARK investment team, Brett and Sam are the two guys along with this other dude. And we're going to be talking about SpaceX. Again, they have a base case of 2.5 trillion, bull case of 3.1. bear case of 1.7. SpaceX right now is 350 billion, and they're assuming all that by 2030. So they'll be on the channel in about 45 minutes, and we will go through their SpaceX valuation. I don't think Trump's going to go live tonight. I think we've gotten the notification already. Futures are dumping a little bit, down about 1/3%. I think he might go live tomorrow. If he does go live tonight, then it would be a little bit later today. I will try to go live if he goes live as well. But if not, then we should be getting updates tomorrow. And we're going to see if the United States really starts to get involved here. All right. Thank you, everybody. If I don't see you throughout the rest of the day, good night. And we'll be back tomorrow on the Market Open. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.